And a good Wednesday morning to you. Welcome into Darren Donick and Jace and no D-Base. Tomorrow and Friday, they'll join us. Darren McFarland, Willie Donick, Elijah Campbell, Hillside Medical Game Studio on this gorgeous day here in Music City. I think it's going to be 80, maybe 82. But maybe have some storms rolling in later this afternoon or this evening. I know, thumbs down, Elijah. I get it. It's not my forecast. I would have 82 and beautiful. No wind, the birds chirping, but I don't make the forecast. I'm just telling you what they're telling me.
Don't know if my poor yard can handle it.
I'm the middleman. I'm just telling you, they're saying some heavy stuff could come through later tonight, so just be cognizant of that. We've got a great show as always. We're going to talk to Kansas play-by-play guy at 10:30, Brian Haney. Talk about the Jayhawks in the Final Four yet again. Of course, they'll be taking on Villanova. We'll do that at 10:30. Jason Cole at 11 o'clock. Talk about some of the new NFL rules. Talk NFL with him. He's been covering the league for a very, very, very long time. Robbie Stanley, who you just heard, who I told him before the show, my son had a bone to pick with him from something he said this morning, but we got that all cleared up. And now I'll have to relay Robbie's message to Maddox. So, and Robbie's right. I mean, it's all been cleared up. And then Chris Mason at 1 o'clock. Predators win 4-1 over the Senators last night. Next up, first game in the month of April. That'll be Friday night in Buffalo. You can go there and check out the new stadium. Oh, wait a minute. It's not built yet. Or I don't think they've even stuck a shovel in the ground.
Yeah, I don't know. It's the stadium's a little bit away from downtown, so I've never I've never even seen the existing stadium. I've
honestly,
never been there.
I haven't looked.
I've driven by it in the distance, but I've never
Is this
been
what's
on the
supposed to be in
grounds.
Orchard Park still? I mean,
I
are they
don't
doing
know.
it? I didn't even look at the location.
I assume.
Orchard Park is out in the middle of nowhere, if you haven't been.
Yeah.
In the middle of nowhere. I haven't been in a long time, unless it's been built up since the last time I was there, but it was out in the middle of nowhere last time. I suspect
We would need to consult our Buffalo expert.
We
Pete
have
Weber.
people that can fill us in, can fill in the gaps.
My experience with Buffalo is simply the downtown area, and then driving past Niagara Falls up to St. Catharines, Ontario, on the other side of the border, where I spent a summer hitting .216 and ending my minor league baseball career.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if it ended. You ended it. Did it really end? Did baseball end your career, or did you end it?
Baseball ended it. I got the phone call.
Really?
Oh yeah. I didn't walk away.
No, I know, but you couldn't have latched on somewhere else.
You know, I
say,
probably.
Hey, I feel like I got 230 in me.
I
Just
could've.
give me a chance.
I could have. Well, you know what? In all seriousness, I thought I should try to pitch. That was what I thought about doing, but I turned the page. The budding radio career.
I mean, it's all worked out. We can laugh about it now, but
Yeah.
it sounds like you have a little bit in you that says.
I always wonder. I do
would
wonder
like to,
if I'd have really given it one shot.
Where would
to
it have
pitch.
really gone?
Yeah, maybe I could have gotten to AA. I don't know.
Well, I mean, hey, you never know.
We'll never know.
Yeah, we're right. We'll never know. It's a good point. I have heard through the grapevine. I've got a pretty good source on this that if you do want to get caught up on all things Buffalo when you go, that the Webbers will be running tours. So yeah, I don't know if you're on the schedule yet, but get on the schedule because apparently there will be some tours. So you can get caught up on everything. All the things you couldn't answer when I was throwing stuff at you just now, you can answer before the game on Friday night.
Oh yes,
if you sign up for the Weber tour.
I will do a thorough investigation when we arrive in Buffalo on Thursday.
Okay. Overall thoughts on last night's 4-1 victory?
It's a theme of the week, playing these teams that are loose, nothing to play for other than, trying to spoil teams and steal points from teams that need them badly. And Nashville flat out didn't play very well, particularly in the first period and a half. But they were bailed out by a great performance by UC Saros. They were opportunistic. I still am not quite sure Darren, how that puck on the penalty kill got stuck in the pizza slice. I don't know if there was some extra sauce or extra cheese or something.
Some pepperonis.
Maybe some pepperonis.
Maybe some pepperonis. I need to turn my mic on.
Maybe there was, I don't know what kind of English
Rather than
Matthias Ekholm put on that thing.
Or I could just do this. That's better.
But I thought the play of the game that got Nashville out of a hole. Remember, they're down 1-0. They had a parade to the penalty box. 5 penalties in the first period. 5. 0 for Ottawa.
It was a bit much.
Now, just like every night when this happens, were some
Hard
of them
hitting stuff right here.
Were some of them tic-tac, debatable? Sure. But at the end of the day, it's 5.
Yeah, delay of games are not.
They're not debatable.
They're not debatable.
Yeah. So they're really on the ropes. 7 minutes out of 20, they're on the penalty kill. Mm-hmm. They're down 1-0. Final minute of the first period. The puck gets cleared into the corner. Remember, the goalie cannot go into the corner. Chris Mason's been ironically saying this rule should be just, why even have this?
Agreed. Well, yeah. Why? Why is that? We can talk about it with Chris today. Why do they have that rule? It doesn't.
Well,
what's
there's a reason.
The sense behind it?
The reason why is the goalies were getting too good at jumping out of the net, grabbing the dump in, and shooting it back out.
Okay. Is there a problem with that?
Well, it was taking away goals. The scoring was not where they wanted it. So they wanted a way to skillfully play the puck into the corner where the goalie couldn't play it. The offense maybe could get the puck back and thus create more scoring chances. This rule was put in when there was a lot of 2-1 games. This was when New Jersey was winning big. Dallas was winning big with the very tight 1-0, 2-1 kind of game. So that's the context of that. And guys like Martin Brodeur and some guys were getting really, really good.
Those days are
at
long
jumping
gone.
Out and playing the puck and making the next pass and getting the puck out of trouble.
Check the scores on a nightly basis in the league now. Those days are long gone.
But as you know, most leagues don't put in rules to help defense, right? They put in rules to help offense.
It's not just a hockey thing.
So I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon. Nonetheless, much to the chagrin of Chris Mason and other goalies, the puck was coming around the corner, and 99 times out of 100, it's going to come into the trapezoid,
right?
Which is the area that the goalie can play it. So Anton Forsberg's like, okay, come on. Next thing you know, the puck just stops about 6 inches from the line. He's like, oh, I got a problem here. I can't reach in there and play the puck. In retrospect, he probably should have just gone ahead and played it.
No, that's exactly where I was going. It's like Roman Josi. Like, you have to make a split-second decision. Yeah. Okay, you're screwed. You might as well just go on and
take the penalty. Because then it would be a 4-on-4, and then you'd have to kill off a power play, but that's a better result in retrospect.
Right. Yes. Agreed.
But he decided, I'll just scramble back.
Yeah, bad move.
And Michael McCarron, who's got, that
6'9".
Yeah, he's got the longest arms on the team, right? And so he's got the reach. He grabs the puck, skates around the back of the net, and stuffs it in barely. If he gets there a half second later, it's a save.
No, he is Hal Gill's. He's about Hal Gill's size, right?
Oh, I think if he's a little shorter, he may not get there, but he was able to do it, and it ties the game. And all of a sudden, you're like, hey, that was a nightmare period, and it's tied. So you feel a lot better. It didn't get a whole lot better in the second period, but Michael McCarron scores a second goal. UC Saros makes a save on a 2-on-0.
A penalty
another
shot.
2-on-1,
well,
which was a great.
Was after
and
McCarron.
then the penalty shot, shorthanded, and somehow you're ahead 2-1. And then they played a good third period, I thought, to pull away at the end. They got the big goal from Jeannot, empty net goal. So the 4-1, again, you look at the score 4-1, you don't look at the story of the game, you're like, oh, Nashville took care of Ottawa. And that wasn't easy at all. But you take it every time.
Something
right?
Hal Gill said last night in postgame that I thought was interesting, because I asked him, I did my own hashtag Ask Hal, and he's like, you don't have to do that. You can just ask me.
He got a little rattled on the Ask Hal.
He really did. Last night was good. The questions put him on the hot seat.
He was scrambling.
They were not layups.
Tough. No.
They made him think.
Hard-hitting questions.
Made him think, and he was very uncomfortable with that. I said, here of late, starts have not been good. Now,
not at all.
Some of them, they've found a way, like last night, and Philadelphia and Anaheim. I mean, They were able to pull through and come out with 2 points,
Right.
and nobody cares.
They've given up the first goal 5 straight games in 6 out of 7.
But honestly, in most of those cases, giving up the first goal was lucky, right? Like Anaheim, it felt like they could have easily been down 3-4-0.
Oh yeah,
very lucky to be down. And that probably played into why they were able to come back and win. Philadelphia, they got down 2-0. But I asked him, I said, these starts, how do you could talk about it, but how do you truly change it? And Hal brought up a really good point. He's like, well, this is game 67 of the season. They do scout teams. And at this point, you're coming down the backstretch of the regular season. You're going into the final month. The book is out on what the Predators. So teams are adjusting. You don't think they're not talking about the Predators' forecheck? You don't think they're not talking about, what we were just talking about, dumping it in the zone, chasing it down and out physicaling you and imposing their will on you? You don't think they're not talking about that stuff? And so I did think that was interesting, because I wonder if the starts will change or can change. So let's talk about that on the other side. And I also want to ask you about Tanner Jeannot. With the season that he's having, is it time to start thinking about him in a different role? And you're like, what are you talking about? I'll tell you on the other side here on the DDC, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Sometimes their glass is half full.
That was unbelievable. It was the best NFL draft they've ever had.
Sometimes glass half empty.
What are we getting ourselves into here? Tough game.
And sometimes it's all about the numbers.
One win, and they've gone on this streak, and now they're at 500.
Hang out with Darren, Donick, and Chase from 10 to 2 during your workday. Presented by Curacion CBD on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
Hal Gill here for my good friends at Dunkin'. You know I love Dunkin', and I'm wicked happy that Dunks is all over Nashville. A newly remodeled next-gen Dunkin' location is at 1645 West Main Street in Lebanon. Of course, Dunks has the best coffee, but they have new spring items available as well. Try the salted caramel cream cold brew, shamrock macchiato made with Irish cream swirl, and the roasted tomato toast with hummus or avocado. They also have amazing chocolate croissants. So go treat yourself, go get your Dunks.
Tickets are on sale now to see the Nashville Sounds in Hit City this summer. Opening day is April 5th. Get ready to spend your nights at First Horizon Park all season long. There's something for everyone, from weekly giveaways to theme weekends and fireworks shows. Tickets at NashvilleSounds.com.
What if you could be debt-free in 3 weeks? Hey, Willie Donick here. My friends at Loan Pronto are helping people do it every day. It's Loan Pronto's debt consolidation home refi, wiping out tens of thousands in credit card debt. Listen, your home's value is way up. You can refinance now, take money out to pay off all your credit cards, eliminate PMI charges, pay off personal loans, or other high-interest debt. One local couple had over $50,000 in credit card debt. Loan Pronto did a debt consolidation refi. And even though their mortgage rate went up a tad, they cut their monthly payments by $900. Why pay 20% interest when you can consolidate it to one low payment with a mortgage APR in the threes? Homeowners who do it save an average of $800 a month. Do it now and even skip your next house payment altogether. That's what I call financial freedom. Call Loan Pronto now. 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval.
Hey everybody, it's me, Chase McCabe, and I'm so excited to be talking about my go-to drink when I'm out and about, Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Screwball is the first and most awarded peanut butter whiskey in the world. It's an original, just like me, the suit. I take Screwball as a shot, but it's great on the rocks, in an old-fashioned, an espresso martini, and many more. So next time you're out and about, ask for Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2022, Screwball Spirits, LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
Thinking about making a change? You've put in the years and had success, but ready for something more? Well, good news. Little Guys Movers is looking for folks just like you to own and operate their very own Little Guys Movers franchise. From Broadway to Brentwood to Mount Juliet, if you can hear my voice, there's an affordable, profitable Little Guys franchise opportunity nearby. Use your existing 401k to invest in yourself. Financing options are available. Join a team with 30-plus years of growth and good times. Learn more at littleguysfranchise.com and then make that call.
Hey, it's Elijah Campbell from Darren, Donick, and Chase, and I got my radio start right here as an intern at ESPN 1025 The Game. It was an excellent experience, and we're now looking for new interns. If you think that's you, go ahead and send your resume over to together@cromwellmedia.com to apply.
Hi, I'm Yussi Saros. And this is Nashville.
Now here's a try off to the side. What a stop made by Yussi Saros there.
You're listening to the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network. ESPN 1025, The Game.
Interact with Darren, Donick, and Chase. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
You can watch us streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook every single day. Our video streaming brought to you by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. All right, let's start with the starts. Is that redundant? I don't know. Can it change? If the book is out, they're going into game 68, 15 games remaining in Buffalo Friday night.
1 month.
Hal says book is out. I mean, every team does this in the league. Everybody figures out everybody's tendency. They do it with teams and players, right? Just like we talk about it in football, basketball, baseball, everybody, that's their job. They have people on staffs to figure out and do their homework on tendencies of teams and players. So the book is out. Everybody knows what the Predators are doing. So with that being said, they go into the game trying to avoid letting the Predators impose their will, do what the Predators way that we've been talking about. So can they truly change the starts, or is this what it is? And you have to wear them down. Like, for example, that Tanner Jeannot goal, that was what the Predators do, right? But it was 2.5 periods into the game. So was it as the game goes along, they start wearing you down? But early on, they can be sharp in those spots, right? But over the course of a game, they're maybe not as eager to go in the corners. They're not as eager to get blown up by Tanner Jeannot if Mark Borowiecki's playing, or, whatever. Nick Cousins is under somebody's skin, and so that it plays out. So can you change the starts?
Well, first, Hal is right that everybody knows how the Predators play now. It's not.
Do you think that was a
anymore.
good hashtag Ask Hal question?
Yes, it was. But I think it's true now of everybody's team. Like, I think by this time, you really know what you're going to get. Like we talked yesterday, I hadn't seen Ottawa play all year.
You haven't been watching Senators games? What?
And I don't think I watched them play a single game last year.
I'm pretty sure if the Sens were on or Nickelodeon was on, I'd probably watch somebody get slimed before I'd watch an Ottawa game.
Right. So now there's a case of,
although I love Austin Watson,
there's a case of me as the play-by-play guy. The Predators had not played them since February of 2020.
It's been over 2 years.
Yeah. So I asked some extra questions about them yesterday morning. I was like, look, tell me about some of these guys. How do they play? And they do have a very unique way of playing. They've got a different setup, a 1-1-3 or something. Some of the things that I don't have all the nuance with, but it was real valuable information for Hal and Mace. That's the kind of stuff that is important when you play. And how do they go about it? They're young, they're fast. Do they have flaws? Yeah, they're not going to the playoffs, but they can beat you if you're not ready to play. But I think that's the kind of thing, you know what you're getting with every team by now. There's no surprises. That having been said, Darren, I think the start thing is a thing that can be a trend, and then suddenly it's not a trend. For example, for the season, Nashville has outscored the opposition by 11 goals in the first period.
First period? Interesting.
So they've been a pretty good first period team on the whole, just not
the last
not
2
lately.
weeks have been, in particular,
yes,
the starts have not been
good. Now the quickest way to get yourself in trouble is to go take 3 penalties.
I'm trying to
in the first 4 minutes.
That's 5 penalties in a period. Maybe we know that's not a good game plan. But
even in games where that hasn't happened,
out of it.
Yeah, even when that hasn't happened, they've
still
had some
bad
rough
starts.
First period. Now they've had some good ones over the course of the year. Otherwise, they wouldn't be 62-51 on the good side for the first period. So I don't know what it is. I think some of it becomes mental, right? You walk out there and you go, man, we've been getting off some bad starts. Let's get off to a good start. And then something bad happens. Oh, man, here we go again. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Sometimes I think you think about it too much. We can cite examples. I think the power play has become a mental thing in the past, and they've obviously shed that.
Oh, 100% agree.
We're going on the power play. Oh,
well,
we haven't had much success on the power
play. When people grown at home, you don't think the players don't feel that?
Right.
Power play.
So I think there's some mental weight that you feel sometimes. There was one year, I can't remember, they had the weirdest time in the second period.
Yeah.
Right? You look at it was like, what's going on in the second period? Is it long? You come up with all these theories. Is it the long change? Like,
this is where we get into stats a little too much.
Yeah.
Right? We're breaking down periods and like, is this a trend? Oh, my gosh. What is it about? And look, it was so bad. Remember, we were asking the players, and the players were like, I have no idea.
Exactly.
No clue how to answer that.
The worst was Peter Laviolette because he had no time for those questions.
Yeah.
He would get so annoyed because he would sit there and you could say with him, you could feel it without him saying it. Now he would tell us when we would ask him in private the same thing. He would maybe just expound a little more, but his eyes would roll, and he would give the stock answer. Look, we want to score first. It's not like we're coming out there saying let's get off to a bad start. He just had his.
Of course, and
he's like, if we could fix it,
it's
we would.
fair.
Remember
answer.
the Saturday night thing? They couldn't win on Saturday night for all that's like. And you ask Peter Laviolette, hey, what's going on Saturday? Man, he goes, look, we tried. It's not like we're preparing differently. He said, and we've talked about it. He said, we've tried meeting different times. We've tried shaking up the routine. Whatever. We don't know. Like, Barry Trotz's answer was always the magic pills. He was like, look, if I had the magic pills to figure out why we're having bad starts, then I would just grab the magic pills and I would retire from coaching and I would just sell the magic pills to
I would
everybody.
buy some.
Yeah.
I'd stand in line for Barry's pills. Okay, so this is maybe just something that, hey, it'll either work itself out or it's not. I mean, it may not. I mean, who knows? But it's either going to work its way out or not. All right, I want to get to the other one.
All right.
Okay, and this really came up when I saw what's happened in Colorado, and I haven't looked today to see if there's any new news. Not last night's game, the game before against Minnesota. I don't remember. I think it was Ranton, and somebody got run. Or Landeskog. One of them got run, and it was McKinnon who jumped in first to fight Dumba. Well, guess what? McKinnon was in the box, and he had a big old bag of ice on his hand, and it did not look good. Yesterday before the game, he was ruled out. The coach was asked, what's your level of concern for Nathan McKinnon? His answer was one word, high.
Ooh.
McKinnon didn't play last night, and there is speculation. Did he break his hand in that fight? That's speculation. No idea. The point of this conversation is Tanner Jeannot comparable to Nathan McKinnon? No, I'm certainly not going there. Tanner Jeannot has had an unbelievable rookie season. Tanner Jeannot is a big part of what they do and their offense and the scoring. He's got 23 goals on the season. Has it reached the point where Tanner Jeannot, because, look, there's a school, and I think it's pretty divided. I don't know. It depends on who you ask. Nathan McKinnon, hey, he earns the respect of his teammates. Well, his teammates probably already respect him, but, hey, you can get even more props by doing something like that. You're a leader. Look at you. You're not waiting for somebody else. And then there's a whole other school, a group of people going, dude, you're a superstar. You guys are in first place. You're coming down the backstretch of your season, and you're in there fighting Dumba? What are you doing? Why would you risk everything we've done? Tanner Jeannot is no stranger to fights.
Oh, yeah?
He leads the NHL in fighting majors. Is it time for Tanner Jeannot to back off from the fights because he's earned the right to be, because he's too critical to what they're doing, because there are teams that'll send a guy out there. They don't care if they lose him for 5 minutes.
Right.
But guess what? It's not a good swap for the Predators. Scrub in the box for 5 minutes, Jeannot in the box for 5 minutes. Is it time? Well, you have that talk of, hey, we maybe need you to pick your spots, and it better be a really good reason. Pick your spots. Basically, stop fighting everybody. Everybody wants to fight. Stop fighting everybody. Need you on the ice.
I think that's a great question for Hal and Mace. Was that an Ask Hal last night?
No, I didn't even ask that last night.
Okay, that needs to be a Ask Hal, a hashtag. My opinion right now is I would let it roll. But I will tell you, and I'll guarantee you everybody has the same feeling. When I see him with the ice on the knuckles after a fight.
A fight after Hodson, that's what he was doing.
And then he came in and scored the goal.
I know.
You do have that fear, especially with visors and things. You're throwing these blows, and he wouldn't be the first if McKinnon actually did injure his hand. There's been many of those over the years that sidelined you for a while. Right now, I think it's too much of the makeup of the team, what he does. I think in the future, though, that has to be talked about. I don't know if you would do it midstream this year. I just think it's too much of a part of who they are, is him sort of leading the way in that category. But I do think it's a strategy of, hey, go ahead. You want to go with Janot? Good. Take him out of there for 5 minutes. He's got 23 goals.
What if he's out for 4 weeks?
Well, that's the big fear, right? But even within the game that you just said, exchanging 5 minutes for one of your guys that plays on the fourth line and isn't a big part of what you do, and then Tanner Janot going in the box for 5 minutes?
When Bednar says, what's your level of concern for McKinnon? High?
Well, that's a whole different thing.
Can you imagine
McKinnon
if he misses a month?
Well, for them, not a big deal.
Well, I mean, come on. It's still McKinnon.
They beat Calgary last night.
I know, without him. I know. On the road, too.
Yeah.
Right? We'll continue the discussion. There's no doubt this is not going to go away. I'd like to hear more on it because I do think it's something that's worth discussing. We'll come back, talk to Kansas play-by-play man. Can the Jayhawks get it done? Can they be playing on Monday night? We'll find out next.
Every Wednesday, it's me, Jared Stillman, against Joe Rexroad for Jared versus Joe. Brought to you by Parman Tractor and Equipment. Visit ParmanTractor.com, your Middle Tennessee link belt and Takeuchi dealer.
The 2022 Major League Soccer season is officially here, and Nashville SC's new home, Geodis Park, is nearly complete. Don't miss Nashville SC's home opener May 1st. Secure your season tickets now. Come on and grab a seat at NashvilleSC.com/22ticks.
Middle Tennessee, you can count on an award-winning service team for all your home maintenance and improvement needs. Lee Company, we're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau and trusted by thousands of homeowners in our community. Our team is ready to assist with all your home maintenance projects, heating and air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, appliance service, and more. Experience the convenience of calling one phone number for all your home maintenance needs. Call Lee Company today at 615-567-1000 or visit leecompany.com.
It's the official Bud Light Preds Watch Party as your Nashville Predators take on the Buffalo Sabres this Friday. Puck drops at 6, but the party starts at 5:30 with all kinds of specials. See you at headquarters, Beercade, downtown Nashville on 2nd Avenue. Go Preds!
Joe Rexroad here for FanDuel Sportsbook. Letting you know right now, FanDuel is giving new customers a $150 instant bonus guaranteed. That's right. You get $150 in bonus site credit. All you have to do is place your first bet of $5 or more. We are down to the Final Four in the NCAA tournament. You want to get into the rest of the bracket, you can choose from money line, totals, prop bets, so much more. I have a feeling, even though Villanova is not as talented as Kansas, I think Villanova gets it done. Maybe Villanova-Duke. You do whatever you want to do. Just know that when you join today with promo code Joe102, you can place your $5 bet and score $150 in bonus site credit guaranteed. That, again, is promo code Joe102 on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is now withdrawable site credit. Expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line, 800-889-9789.
Smokeville Smoke Shop has been serving Hendersonville and Metro Nashville since 2015 and is committed to providing high-quality, hands-on, and personable customer service. Stop into Smokeville Smoke Shops in Hendersonville, Gallatin, Hermitage, and Goodlettsville to try any of their wide selection of locally sourced products and selection of top nationwide brands, including vapes, hookah, hand-blown glass, detox systems, e-juices, kratom products, leaf wraps, and much more. Visit Smokeville Smoke Shops today.
You probably wouldn't leave thousands of dollars on the table at a diner. Why leave thousands on the table with your tax return? Jackson Hewitt will help make sure you don't. This year, there are thousands of dollars worth of new tax credits. Your Jackson Hewitt Tax Pro will help you track down every last one. so you get your biggest refund guaranteed. Don't leave thousands on the table this year. Discover thousands of dollars in tax credits instead.
Check, please.
Learn more at jacksonhewitt.com.
Tonight, it's a Western Conference battle in the NBA.
Torrey inside. Great muscle move.
As the Phoenix Suns take on the Golden State Warriors.
Thompson's 5 of 7.
Coverage begins at 8:30
on ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, this is Paul Feinbaum and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
All right, down to 4 teams. All the action begins Saturday night, New Orleans. Here, McFarland, Willie Donick here on the DDC. Brian Haney, Kansas play-by-play man, who was busy in the second half last Sunday against Miami, Florida, calling a lot of buckets because the Jayhawks just took over the game.
Is there anything more fun as an announcer when you just see the takeover happen and you get to call it?
Like at what point did you go, Brian, privately or during a break, like, holy crap, did this game change in a hurry?
Man, I think it was probably at the under 16-minute media timeout. We're talking about maybe seeing the best start we could possibly see on both ends of the floor, and it wound up being the best half of basketball that Kansas has played all year. They outscored the Canes 47-15 in the final 20 minutes, and this has not been a dominant Kansas team, even in a season in which they earn a 1 seed for Bill Self for the 10th time, if you include 2020 when the tournament was canceled. This was not a team that on a regular basis blew other teams out. A lot of times they had to eke it out, grind it out, and yet we saw them put it all together, turn defense into offense, wear down Miami, who was not a deep team, with our up-tempo as one of the best transition offenses in the country, get rip and runs where you're running off of their mistakes and scoring quickly on the other end. And then finally, the three-pointers started to fall because, to your point, we didn't hit a single three in the first half. We were miserable from the free throw line. We give up a 9-2 run in the last 4 minutes of the first half and looked about as vulnerable as we have all tournament. And then you finally see Kansas flex a little bit. And that version of Kansas where Ochai Agbaji, the first-team All-American, is shooting and scoring it confidently because he'd been in a slump the last 3 weeks. That version of Kansas where David McCormick is providing a real presence inside. And then you add in Remy Martin, who's really been the story of this March Madness run, the Arizona State transfer that was the preseason Big 12 Player of the Year, only to have 4 months of injuries and frustration and rumors of is he leaving and all this stuff, to now be shining when the lights are the brightest and the stage is the biggest. That's the version of Kansas that can beat any team in the country. And we'll let folks continue to write about Coach K's swan song and put all the hype on Carolina Duke that they want, because it's not often as a 1 seed and the last 1 seed still standing that you get to fly under the radar as much as Kansas is right now. So they welcome that, and hopefully they can bottle that second half effort up, because if so, this looks like the team to beat.
Brian, I renamed my bracket trash. I put it in the trash folder. I got duped, and I told this. We had Duke's play-by-play guy on yesterday. I told him I got duped by them because I watched them against North Carolina in the final game of the regular season get trounced at home in Coach K's final home game. I saw them lose to Virginia Tech, and I was like, yeah, it's just not going to happen. I get it, all the magic, and it's not going to happen. I watched some of your guys' games. I watched the Kentucky game. I watched a couple other games, and I'm like, and what you just said is exactly what I was thinking when I was picking. I've watched a lot of good Kansas teams over the years. This is not one of them, like, great Kansas teams. I was like, I'm not going to pick them to go, to the Final Four, go this far. So, yeah, didn't have Kansas in the Final Four, and here they sit.
Isn't that wild? I think realistically, if we spoke constructively and honestly, in 19 years of Bill Self basketball, this is maybe the 9th or 10th most talented team he's had. But as we found out the hard way as Kansas fans over the years, and Kentucky fans, Carolina, Duke fans, they've all got their own sob stories too. This format does not often reward the best team in the country. It rewards the team that catches fire at the right time and catches some breaks. And Kansas has had a lot of breaks come its way to kind of open up this path to the Final Four. But now you have to go out and seize it. And that's not to say they've been more lucky than good. It means they've been both really good and fortunate. And sometimes that's the winning formula. I could name 5 Kansas teams in the last 30 years that were the best team in the country heading in, but didn't even scratch the Final Four. And that's just the cold, harsh reality of this format where it's one and done. And if you run into the wrong matchup or you get a key injury at the wrong time, sayonara. Kentucky fans can say the same thing. So for this Jayhawk team, you're absolutely right. I mean, let's put it in perspective like this. The last time they won the national title in 2008, if you looked at the big man depth chart, their number 4 big, Cole Aldrich, was still a lottery pick. This team has 1.5 bigs, and the one starter probably plays well 1 out of every 3 games. I mean, it's really been that inconsistent in the post. This is not anywhere close to Bill Self's most talented team. Now, it is his best collection of wing talent he's ever had. Ochai Agbaji, Christian Brown, Jalen Wilson, these guys are tremendous. And back in the month of December, Agbaji and Brown each averaged 20 points per game for a full month. First time a duo had done that at Kansas since a couple of guys named Rafe LaFrentz and Paul Pierce, who obviously were both top 10 NBA draft picks, and Pierce a first ballot Hall of Famer. So, this is rare air to be doing some of the things that Agbaji, Brown, and Wilson have done. But really, as I said, the thing that's taken this Kansas team to a whole different stratosphere in terms of trajectory and optimal potential of what they could be is the emergence of Remy Martin. Dealt with 3 different injuries. It was a back, it was an ankle, and then most famously, it was a knee injury that cost him the better part of 9 weeks. They sat him for a full month of inactivity at one point, but it was a 9-week recovery, and it was frustrating because you guys have watched as much Kansas basketball as you mentioned in that question. Bill Self normally recruits tough guys that play through stuff. It's just their mentality. That was the way he coached them at Tulsa, Illinois, now at Kansas. And the portal doesn't give you a chance to really get to know kids a whole lot because it's a pretty quick courtship and it's a fast marriage, and they learn the system quickly and they're here and gone in the blink of an eye. He was not the typical tough guy that Bill Self recruits, but it doesn't mean he's not a good fit for this team. Doesn't mean he's not a great kid. It just meant with a bone bruise where the recovery time is anywhere between 2 weeks and 10 weeks, they really didn't know when they were going to get the best version of Remy back, if they were going to get him at all. And there was a stretch in about week 3 or 4 where there were rumors that Remy was unhappy and he was going to leave and all this stuff, and that was never the case. He was frustrated with the injury. But my point is, this guy was preseason Big 12 Player of the Year. This guy was a first-team All-Pac-12 player a season ago that averaged 21.5 points per game for Arizona State in league play, and he gave Kansas next to nothing for the first 4.5 months of the season. Now you add him playing at the true level that we know he's capable of, and I ask you the question, guys, who else in the country added a player like that right as the postseason began, a player that can impact and change the game in so many ways? And so that addition, that shot in the arm by the kid they're calling Remy Martin, has been the biggest difference maker of any on this Kansas team amidst this run.
No question, a big difference maker. Brian Haney is with us. He is calling the game for the Kansas Jayhawks in the Final Four, and I love the Rafe LaFrentz reference. That just put me in the time machine going back to the day there. That was good stuff. Brian, let me throw this at you. I mean, you start listing the storied programs, the consistent winners. Kansas and Villanova are on that list, at least in recent history for sure. Has there been any matchups recently that you can throw out there between Jay Wright versus Bill Self? What's the history there, if any?
Man, this is going to be the only time you guys get me on the show. Are you setting me up to go down memory lane in a painful way? Yes, there's several, and I hate to bring him up, but he's had our number, and I know you know that. But you're just tactfully trying to set it up for me without saying, yeah, he's owned you guys. But yes, it was 2016 in the Elite Eight when Kansas should have advanced to the Final Four. Controversial call at the end of the game with Devontae Graham diving for a loose ball. He's now with the Pelicans, by the way, and that was strike one of Jay Wright dashing our hopes. And guess what? They went on to win the national title. Then 2018 national semifinal game at the Final Four in San Antonio. It's Kansas versus Nova. it's a battle of the blue bloods where it's a pick'em game on paper, but they come out in the first 5 minutes, guys, and it's 21-3 at the first media timeout. They set the record for most threes made in a Final Four game by halftime. All right? I mean, it was an onslaught like I've never seen and broke our hearts. I mean, the game was literally over at the 15-minute mark of the first half. And then, of course, they got us in the most recent regular season meeting up in Philadelphia. So I know you were being polite and making me say it, not you, so it didn't sound like you were raining on our parade. But Jay Wright has had our number. He absolutely has. And so this is a matchup where with the loss of Moore in the backcourt for them, their best perimeter defender, second best scorer, Kansas is the clear favorite on Saturday night. But when you throw in the Jay Wright factor and what a brilliant coach he is, their ability to lock you up defensively, they're the best free throw shooting team in the country. There's a lot of ways they could muck up this game in terms of slowing it down, making it ugly, taking Kansas out of their transition offense and keeping it close. And if they do that, then you start to think back to history and how they've had our number in some recent years. But when Bill Self did win his one national title at Kansas, they beat Villanova along the road to the Final Four. It was up in Detroit in a Sweet 16 matchup. And so we like to go back to those memories, if you don't mind, not the most recent ones, because the most recent ones are not fun.
Brian, I predicted yesterday on the show that it would be Kansas and Duke in the national championship. If you guys punch your ticket and you're playing on Monday, we'd love to have you on Monday to preview. It'd be fun. Maybe we'll get D-Mace on here and you can tell him about what he did for you in fantasy football over the years.
That's right. I was telling your producer off the air that I said yes to this because Derek Mason won me many a fantasy football title, and I felt like I owed him something. But Darren and Willie, you guys have been fun too, so I'd love to come on if we can carve out 5 minutes on Monday.
Yeah.
Hopefully we're in that position, my man.
No doubt.
Hey, thanks so much for having me on, and yeah, there's a lot of Coach K history we can talk about too. So let's hope it's either that or Kansas Carolina, because after all, the guy that made Kansas, or rather Carolina basketball, what it is today, Dean Smith, is a Topeka native and a KU graduate from the 1952 Kansas National Championship team. So I want to throw that out there for the Carolina fans in the audience, that it all comes back to Lawrence, Kansas, baby. So whether it's Kansas Duke or Kansas Carolina, if we're lucky enough to still be standing on Monday, there's going to be a lot of great storylines on the tradition that's colliding on college basketball's biggest night.
Enjoy your time in New Orleans. Best of luck, and hopefully we'll talk to you on Monday.
All right, sounds good, guys. Take care.
All right, that is Brian Haney, Kansas play-by-play man. That was fun. We'll come back, wrap up the first hour. Jason Cole to begin the second hour here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
It's been a busy offseason for the Tennessee Titans.
I think this is a one-year prove-it deal for Austin Hooper.
Big move for the Titans. Robert Woods. He fits what they want to do.
Harold Landry. I think he likes playing here.
The Titans keep the cap number small. Landry got exactly what he wanted. Now the focus shifts to the draft. What needs do the two-tone Blues still have?
Who can contribute right now?
Keep it locked to Nashville's best sports talk.
Talking Titans
on ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From Fox 17 News, this is a Code Red weather alert.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Cloudy, windy, and warm today with highs near records before strong to severe storms move in this afternoon and evening.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Gary Ashton here. Most people in Nashville know me as the don't sell without the intel and the guaranteed offer guy. But despite my accent, I'm also 100% guaranteed Nashville. I'm a guaranteed musician, a guaranteed dog lover, and you're also guaranteed to see me at every Titans and Preds game. Guaranteed offer means the Gary Ashton team with RE/MAX Advantage will sell your house for top dollar with no cleaning, staging, showings, or open houses, and give you up to 90 days to close. So there's plenty of time to find your next home. Guaranteed Nashville means my team lives here and loves it here. We've served Nashville for over 20 years, and we're passionate about helping the people we call neighbors and friends, which is why we've had a long-standing tradition of donating to the Vanderbilt Children's Hospital. If you're thinking about a guaranteed offer, get the only one that's guaranteed Nashville. Request a no-obligation offer by calling 615-301-1650 or go to GaryAshton.com today. Remember, Gary Ashton, guaranteed Nashville.
finishing jobs on time, never being idle, and powerful equipment. Meade has the John Deere excavating equipment and the smart grade technology solutions for you and your business. Power your business with a new, used, or rented excavator and get the performance you expect and service you can rely on. Call us today for the equipment built as tough and reliable as you, or visit us at meadtractor.com. That's meadtractor.com.
Tune in to ESPN 1025 The Game every Tuesday afternoon at 4:30 for ESPN's Trevor Maddich joining me, Jared Stillman, on Stillman & Company as we dive deep into the college football world and all the latest from the SEC. It's all brought to you by Houston Clinic Orthopedics, when experience matters.
This is Stan Harrison, CEO of Apple Collision Centers. We understand that no one likes to deal with auto body repair and the inconvenience it becomes in your day-to-day life. I want to personally invite you to stop by and let our experienced staff see how we can help you make your vehicle look good as new. Apple Collision Center has 3 convenient locations: Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin, ready to serve you. Come by and see us or visit us online at applecollisioncenters.com.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe of Darren, Donick, and Chase. I started my radio career as an intern right here at ESPN 1025 The Game. Now we're looking for our next great batch of interns. You think that's you? Send your resume to together@cromwellmedia.com to apply today.
Meshing journalism.
They are 2 scores behind you. The math says that increases your chances of winning.
With sports fandom.
I stayed up until 1:30 in the morning, just emotionally numb from Titans and Packers.
And sarcasm.
You guys are the worst.
Robbie Stanley and Joe Rexrode are Robbie and Rexrode. No duh. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10. Brought to you by Little Guys Movers on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. If you've missed any of today's show, just search Darren, Donick, and Chase on Apple, Spotify, or on your favorite podcast platform.
We got a chance for you, your last chance, to get into another bracket challenge. Yes, down to 4 teams. This is more my style. I've lost all the other bracket challenges. Why not one with just 4 teams left? Go to thegamenashville.com/bracket challenge to play for a chance to win a pair of tickets to see Shinedown. Woo! Bridgestone Arena, May 4th. Game Bracket Challenge is brought to you by Coach's Corner Sports Grill in Spring Hill, Days Delta 8, and Wager, which also did not do well last night. The listeners were taking my money on Wager. Did not fare well. I decided to dabble in the NBA. That was a mistake. I don't watch enough NBA. That was a mistake. Loser, 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 and loser. All right. Loyard down to 4 teams. Good stuff from Brian Haney.
He was
Kansas
good.
Play-by-play guy. Last time
I love
they
the
won,
history.
Yeah, 2008. Last time the Jayhawks won. I remember it well because speaking of brackets, I'll tie this in. Not that anyone cares, but I do. In 08, I was in the biggest bracket challenge I've ever been in. I decided to dabble in one, let's just say, where maybe the pros go, right? Where people that take this stuff really serious, it's a pretty good little buy-in. By the way, speaking of those buy-ins to brackets that may come up, and you just made the list on Friday, as Willie smiles. Well, you know, we walked out of the ring yesterday. We're going to have a little fun with that.
Oh, we're going to have a lot of fun with that.
I was set, so the pot was quite large. I'm just going to be honest. I was set to win it. And boy, did I feel good. I did. I felt pretty good. If Memphis, I didn't have Memphis winning it all, but the way it played out, if Memphis beats Kansas, I'm winning the bracket. Because obviously somebody was going to win it that had Kansas. They had picked Kansas. All I needed was for Memphis to hit some freaking free throws down the stretch.
And they missed a bunch.
And I would have had a lot of cash in my pocket, and I lost. I was so mad at John Calipari. I was so mad at the Memphis Tigers. I can't tell you how mad I was. In fact, I won't tell you because I won't talk about it on the air. I was fuming. I don't think I slept for 2 days. I was so mad.
The words Joey Dorsey will never leave your mouth again.
They had it in the bag. They had it. What they do is hit their damn free throws, and I win the biggest bracket I've ever been in. And I don't even remember the circumstances on why I jumped in, why I felt frisky in 08. But I felt frisky, and I was set to win it until the Tigers could not hit free throws and lost in OT. But I digress. Like I said, none of you care. I do, though. As you can tell, I'm still burning 13, 14 years later.
That's a long time ago.
I know. But I remember it well.
What does that say about other bracket things you've been in since 2008?
I didn't have a chance like this year. It was in the trash Thursday night, first night of the tournament.
Oh, boy.
So I heard Robbie and Rexroad bring up an interesting choice. I don't know what the segment was. They were asking each other questions. Robbie was asking the questions. And I thought this one was intriguing. If you had to root for one of them to win it all in their sport, who would you root for? A, Bill Belichick. B, Little Nicky, a.k.a. Nick Saban. C, Coach K, Mike Krzyzewski. Because obviously those are guys that have been doing it at a high level for a very, very long time, and most people outside of those fan bases do not root for them. Fair? That's fair.
Yeah.
Right? So I was like, that's a good one.
It's a good one.
And I had my ranking in my head, but I want to hear yours first. I want to hear Elijah's second, and then I'll reveal the order that I had in my head. And I want to see where we are on this, because I feel like it's a question that will give, depending on who you ask, you'll be all over the place, right? So
yeah.
Who would you root for the most to win it all?
Out of which guys against?
Belichick.
Coach K. Oh, Belichick is in here.
Little Nicky.
Oh.
And Coach K. Right. See what I mean? As you've grown, I know. Outside of those fan bases, who's really rooting for those guys to win?
Belichick, Nick Saban, or Coach K? Who do I root for the most? I would have to say Belichick.
You would root for Belichick.
Yeah. And
why?
Only because I have so many ties to New England. It's a family
peace
thing.
At home.
Yeah,
this is just to literally keep peace at home.
Not my home, but my extended family.
Well, but it still keeps
that
peace
roams all of New England
amongst the family.
Peace amongst the family. Yes.
So this was
and I can remember growing up. I never disliked the Patriots, and I had a lot of ties up there. So it's always like pre-Belichick. I've never disliked the Patriots. It becomes a lot harder when they got into that mode. It's like the Red Sox. Being a Red Sox fan is totally different now than it was pre-2004, right? It's completely changed. Now they're like the Patriots. They're not the darlings that, wouldn't it be great if the Red Sox ever won? Yep. Like that was totally the thing in 2004. Now it's like, the Red Sox won again? Yeah. Boston, another Boston team won. Oh, man. I mean, they're cocky up there now. It's a totally different thing.
No.
But still, that having been said, I still would rank Belichick 1. Well, who's your 1?
So you would vote Belichick 1.
Yes. Not by much. I mean, I'm not.
Of
I'm
course.
Not
nobody's going to have a
runaway
runaway in this category. Elijah.
See, I have a runaway, and that's Coach K. Because I got to go experience the Duke thing when I was 14. I got to be in the Cameron Crazies for one night, and it was the coolest thing for a 14-year-old. So I've always I've never hated Duke. I might be one of the only people my age that grew up watching college basketball that's not a Duke fan but doesn't hate Duke. I get it. I get why people hate them. I totally understand it. But I kind of like him. I kind of want to see Coach K win this whole thing. I think it'd be really cool.
Okay, see, and this is why I'm asking, because it did exactly, without even knowing your answers, it did exactly what I expected to do. Just so you know, Mike Krzyzewski would be dead last for me, for sure.
Okay.
Third on the list,
well,
hands
your
down.
Kentucky ties would
runaway. I mean, a runaway. There's no scenario where I would root for the man. No scenario whatsoever. 2 would be Bill Belichick. What about your tournament? On to Kansas. He's out. So he's second. I'm going Little Nicky. Even though we have had our moments. We've had some weird, awkward moments where he slapped my leg.
One in particular, yeah.
But there's been a lot of I've been around him enough now in private settings. Look, I don't always agree with everything he does. I think overall, he's I do. I would root for him. I think he's a pretty good person. I do. I know at times he gets.
I agree. He's sort of won me over.
It's a weird thing, but if you're around him, I can't explain it. Like, I don't believe he's a monster. And I know he beats the podium and he does all this stuff and he's done all these stuff over the years and can be hard to deal with. But I've been around him in private settings and I actually find him to be a pretty likable guy. I really do. Even though I told you he slapped me on my leg.
I mean, this is recruiting propaganda, from
right there. It's just right there. That's where he hit my leg, right there.
We had the nervous laughter. Ooh, he just slapped Darren's leg.
He just literally smacked my leg. That was at the downtown Omni.
But
my answer is Little Nicky.
Okay, he's 1 for you. Okay, he's 2 for me, and I do think. Look, I've all 3 are in the category of I like to see when the king gets knocked off the mountain. So I tend to be that way, but Saban definitely has won me over some. I used to really get annoyed with him when he wouldn't even savor a moment. Sometimes I think his wisdom has gone up since he's been it. He used to have this. Hey, we got to start working on recruiting tomorrow.
Yeah,
Coach, you just won the national championship. Would you want to enjoy? Hey, tomorrow the work starts again for the next. I'm just like, okay, chill out. I know the process and everything. I think he looks a little more human now. But Coach K is still number 3 for me.
Coach K is not 3rd. He is 433rd.
Okay.
On a list of 100. So there was no time I even contemplated, never even considered. That was like, okay, he's 3rd.
Now, did you
Let
ever?
Me think
so you never rooted for him. Like I did as a teenager. I did have a fondness for Duke. It switched when I went to Vanderbilt and became sort of a North Carolina,
disciple.
Derivative, if you will,
yes.
Dean Smith derivative that you heard Mr. Haney just talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no.
The connection.
Never. Come back. Jason Cole, we'll talk about the new overtime rules, some other things that are in play. Lots going on in the NFL. It has been very active. We do that to kick off second hour next.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Realizing Geico's great service and licensed agents are available at your fingertips is like realizing the plastic piece that comes with your pizza isn't a tiny doll table. It's to keep the box from touching the pizza.
Hey, the pizza's stuck to the box. Where's that little plastic thing?
Dolly needed it for her tea party.
It's something that's been right there in front of you all along, like the dedicated Geico claims team available to you in the event of an accident to get you back on the road quickly, or how your smartphone charges faster when you put it on airplane mode.
Wow, what if I put it on rocket mode?
It's something you can't believe you never realized before, like how Geico's industry-leading app lets you pay your bill, file a claim, manage your policy, or summon help when you need it. Or how those holes in your shower caddy are there so you can store your shampoo bottles upside down.
Showers happen fast when you're not waiting on shampoo.
Great service. It's just one of the many reasons to switch to Geico. They're all right there in front of you.
The racing, the big one, the camping. It's all just bigger at Talladega. The Talladega NASCAR Weekend, April 23rd through the 24th. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
If you missed the latest from Stillman and Company, delivered by TriStar Moving.
Kentucky's had a lot of success. Cal is in the Hall of Fame, and Kentucky fans are still freaking furious a week after the St. Peter's loss. Tennessee fans are like, shucks, whatever. So, I mean, if Villanova crushes Michigan, just makes it look like Michigan had no business being in the Sweet 16, will Vol fans' feelings be hurt about that at all? Or
I don't think so.
Will they look at it like, Villanova was really good anyway, so it's not like we would have had a chance to beat them?
I think it's more so the latter.
Why will these people not look at the coach like this?
And I think a lot of all fans look at it like, we played that game 10 times and we beat Michigan 9. We just had a really off day, and Michigan had a really on day.
Tune in Stillman and Company with Jared Stillman, weekday afternoons from 2 to 6
on ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, you see Tony's face?
Yeah, he's using one of them Dollar Shave Club 6-blade razors with 6 stainless steel blades for a close shave. His face is as smooth as a river rock.
Smooth as a nice olive oil.
Like a bowling ball.
Like silk pajamas.
Like a seal down at the aquarium.
Like a ball of wax.
Wax job?
Hey, no one said nothing about a wax job, okay? Quit being a wise guy.
Dollar Shave Club. For a noticeably smooth shave. Find us in stores and at dollarshaveclub.com.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
NASCAR is back. Kyle Larson returns to Nashville Superspeedway a winner.
Nashville's exclusive home for NASCAR.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's time for Darren, Donick, and Chase. With hosts Darren McFarland, Willie Donick, and Chase McCabe. On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game.
Second hour DDC here on this gorgeous Wednesday here in Nashville. Darren McFarland, Willie Donick here with you. Jason Cole. He's been covering the league for a long time, and the NFL came out with some rule changes, including overtime. And, Jason, we got into it in the last hour of the show yesterday. Did not realize how many people cared that much about overtime the minute we started talking about it. And we got a little bit silly. Derek Mason was on the show with us yesterday. And we got a little bit silly. I get it. But, man, our text line, our phone line was blowing up. People had opinions about overtime. So I was a little surprised that it garnered that much attention, but the league has decided to make some changes, in the postseason. What did you make of what they came out with?
Well, I mean, congratulations for doing something you should have done 12 years ago. I mean, I know they like to study numbers a lot and things like that, and they don't want to do things that have possible unintended consequences. That's an old Bill Polian line. He likes that one a lot. I think Rich McKay borrows that quite a bit. But I mean, isn't this kind of obvious? When New Orleans beat not Green Bay, when they beat Minnesota in that NFC Championship game in the 2010 playoffs, the 2009 season, right? And that was Brett Favre going into New Orleans against Drew Brees and that great New Orleans defense that they had that year as they won the Super Bowl. If you didn't look back at that one and said, we need to change that rule then, I'm not going to give you a whole lot of credit for waiting now. I'm not patting these guys on the back. It's more like, what were you thinking all this time? You let what happened to Buffalo happen because you didn't think that it was a good idea to change the rules. And again, like when you change certain rules, like if you change defensive holding or you change, offensive holding by linemen, or if you change subtle things to rules, there are unintended things that happen. There are, people change the way that they're going to play the game depending on how those rules are. This is not one of those circumstances. This is simply a matter of, hey, is it fair in a tense game that both teams don't get to touch the ball in overtime after they've played 60 minutes and come to a tie? Like, if you can't just answer that and go, yeah, this is both teams should touch the ball at least once, then you don't really get it. Like, that's just how I view it.
I wish they would have taken a step further, and I know it was on the table, but I guess there wasn't enough there to get it passed through. I hate ties. I mean, hate them, and it should. Yeah. Fans should protest. I mean, they should be offended that they pay that much money to walk away and they don't see a winner. Why do you think the reluctance to change it to get a winner in the regular season, Jason?
Because these are rules done by people who don't actually play the game.
Yeah, but they have people in place that have. I mean,
They're like most people who are owners are owners because it's a really good investment, right? And they make a lot of money doing this, and then they get and they have a great asset. Most of them never played, not competition at this kind of level, nor do they relate to it. They just don't get it. And I would think it'd be kind of a simple beers and hot dogs. I'm in for $200, right, for the day, and I went and watched a tie. Yeah, but there are not enough of them during the course of the season. I don't know. What do we average, 3 or 4 ties during a season? There are not enough of them to cause like some great groundswell of anger. So, I mean, I certainly not taking a broadside shot at you, but the idea of an uproar that causes a protest, that's overstating it a bit too. I mean, it's just like this is one of those common sense things. Like, do you go to watch? Are you going there to watch a tie or not? No, it's not entertaining. A tie is not entertaining. Should each team possess the ball? Yeah, they should. It's a fair way of doing it, at least one time, right? And then you got to get to the point where you get into sudden death because the game can't go on forever, right? So, yeah, I think these are just common sense, easy things. Like I hate the 10-minute overtime rule because you can basically suck the life out of those 10 minutes with a long drive and manipulation of the clock.
That's a problem.
I just don't. I don't like that. I don't like that. That's not entertaining because it just becomes really slow football. That's what I hate about that.
Jason Cole is with us, voter for the Pro Football Hall of Fame, author of 7 books. We're talking NFL with him. So, Jason, here's one philosophical question. Should it be different in overtime than the regular season?
No, I would make them both the same. I mean, again, we're not talking about a lot of games that are being impacted. So I would just make it one rule. But again, like you're dealing with people who, like, sometimes they're afraid of, they just don't look at things and say, like, this doesn't work. It's like the replay rule, right? They put more and more replays in because they want to, quote unquote, get plays right. I get that. I understand it. But when you slow the game down for 2 or 3 minutes every time you have a replay, you end up with a really dull product. And you end up with people, especially in this day and age, who are like picking up their phones in the stadium, or they're watching TV, or they're flipping to another game, or they're doing something else, and they're just looking for action. Look, I watch, 12 games a day, on DirecTV on Sundays to try and keep track of everything. I can't tell you the number of times that I'm flipping through to find action and I'm on the same Charmin ad, right? Like, I just don't want to see the
That
Bears.
does happen. It does happen.
Yeah, I don't want to see the Bears complaining about the scratchy tushy, okay? Like, that's just not the thing that I want, right? So, and I don't need to see another ad for blue pills. Like, it's just not what I'm interested in, okay? So can we just get to a point where we have more action and not more opportunities to fill in for commercials? Like, can we have something where we have continuous action and it's more interesting? That's what I want. And that's what I don't like about things like replay or, again, just making obvious decisions about what is best for the game.
Jason, I want to throw one more outside the box. We debated yesterday. See what you think, because to me, I would like for the overtime, I think it would solve some equity issues if you made the decision on the coin toss a real decision. Right now, there's so much riding on the coin toss. Whoever wins the coin toss, it just automatically goes, ooh, the team that won the coin toss just got a big sigh of relief. They've got a big opportunity. And I think we would all agree that the way it is or has been, they have an advantage. But what if you created a scenario where there really was a decision on the coin toss? And what I threw out there was if you take the ball, you get it on a yard line that makes it much more advantageous for the defense. It's an arbitrary yard line. I threw out the 8-yard line or something. You would have to take a look at the percentages of an offense scoring from a certain yard line. And then you would really have a strategy. Do we want our offense on the field if we start that far back, or do we want our defense? That to me would solve a lot of the problem here. Am I nuts?
I'm not against listening to the entire proposal. I'm a little bit, sort of like just play the game. Play the game under the rules that you have, and if that's you're kicking off and you want to kick deep and just have them start on the 25-yard line. That's how the game is played, and that's what we have established. I'm willing to listen on data on stuff like that, like whether you start on the 20 or the 15 or the 10, and how does it impact the way that you choose to play and field position, and whether the other team's going to get a chance if they stop you out, before you get another first down, that helps them get a field goal in return and perhaps end the game a little bit faster. Yeah, I'm willing to listen to that stuff, but without data, it's hard for me to sort that one out, right? So I'm kind of initially just against it until I hear it. But it's something worth thinking through. But the other thing is, it's tough with artificially imposed rules that displace action, right? Like, we've studied the percentages, and this is what happens. Well, those percentages are great, but not all teams play the same way. Like, the Baltimore Ravens don't play football the same way that the Chiefs do. I mean, they play football in alignment, with positions that are all the same. That's not what I'm trying to say. But their style of play is much, much different because Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson are different style of quarterbacks. You're going to run a lot more with one of them, and you're going to throw a lot more with the other, and you design your teams accordingly, right? And their percentages of scoring, are different. And then, is your team designed to play defense more than another team, which may be more of a fast break kind of defensive style, which is we're playing for turnovers and to try and get extra possessions. Again, where I get classically back to the New Orleans Saints team that won the Super Bowl in the 2009 season, that was a team that was willing to give up points. They would trade points defensively. They would give it up to get an extra possession or two because their offense was so good that if they figured if they could steal an extra possession or two, they were going to win. And they were right. That was the correct strategy to play that season, and that's why I did it. So part of me is like, look, not everybody plays football exactly the same way, so you're restricting them by by artificially putting in that rule.
30 seconds or less, Jason. After this upcoming season is completed, the Miami Dolphins will have learned what about Tua?
Oof, wow, that's a great question. And I think that I'm siding with that he's just not quite good enough to be a star caliber quarterback. The stuff that you saw when he was in college, some of that speed and quickness of his footwork, the explosiveness has not returned. He's not Steve Young that I thought he was going to be more like Steve Young. He's accurate. He's really good, but he's not the quick twitch athlete that Steve Young was at his time, and we're not seeing that. But they're doing everything they can to try and find out. That Tyreek Hill trade is a huge one.
Yep, no doubt. It will be interesting to see how it plays out. Jason, enjoyed the visit as always. Thanks for doing this, and we'll talk to you down the road.
Anytime, guys. Be good. Thanks.
All right, you do the same. Jason Cole's been covering the NFL for a long time. We'll talk about some of these new rule changes that you just heard. Got a lot of reaction yesterday, but first, Willie, you're going to tell everybody about Loan Pronto.
All right. What if you could be debt-free in 3 weeks? Well, Loan Pronto can help you with that, and they're helping people do that every day. It's Loan Pronto's debt consolidation home refi, wiping out tens of thousands of dollars in credit card bills and other high-interest debt that you might have. So here's how it works. Your home value is way up, so you can refinance, take money out to pay off all your credit cards, eliminate PMI charges, pay off personal loans, or other high-interest debt. One local couple, for example, $50,000 in credit card bills. Loan Pronto did a debt consolidation refi, and even though their mortgage rate went up a tad, they still come out ahead because they cut their monthly payments by $900. So why pay 20% interest when you can consolidate it into one low payment with a mortgage APR in the threes? Homeowners who do it save an average of $800 a month. Do it now. You could even skip your next house payment. That's what I call financial freedom. So call Loan Pronto now. That's 615-499-5780. 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval.
Inside knowledge on the Titans.
Todd Downey's got his notepad out right now, just writing things out.
Inside knowledge on the Predators.
They can go right into the forecheck, and boom, you get a beautiful goal from Colton Sissons.
And then there's a team in Knoxville.
How excited should Tennessee fans be by what they've seen from Josh Heupel in year one?
Wake up and hang out with Robbie and Rexroad. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10. Brought to you by Little Guys Movers on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
All the games are crazy in March, and so are Social Furniture's prices. Shop today at Social Furniture during their end of March sale. You'll find all sofas and sectionals for your home on sale now with same-day delivery. Social Furniture's end of March sale going on now. Enjoy your new sofas and sectionals now with no waiting and same-day delivery. Visit Social Furniture today in West Nashville at 5412 Charlotte Avenue. Forget the big box store. Support local. Support social. Social Furniture is a proud supporter of your Nashville Predators.
After months of playing, college basketball has determined the top 4 teams, and the final 2 rounds will crown this year's champion. BetOnline.net is your #1 source for all your betting needs and sports info. From all the latest odds, contests, and player props, you name it. And it's not just basketball. BetOnline.net is your continued source for all your sporting wagering information, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino games. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action. BetOnline.net's where the game starts.
From curriculum-based literacy programs and sport leagues to college tours and workforce readiness tracks, Boys and Girls Clubs of Middle Tennessee provide a safe place where youth gain the tools to learn, lead, and reach their full potential. You can support local youth and their great futures by donating at bgcmt.org.
Come float at Float Horizon in East Nashville. Come float to relax, recharge, renew. Float to boost your mood and enjoy a pleasant afterglow that lasts for days. Float to escape or meditate. And come float for half off with Nashville's best deal of the week. Experience a 60-minute float session for just $39.50. Go to thegamenashville.com/deals to get your float on today. Lay back and experience the wonders of true relaxation at Float Horizon at 1012 Russell Street in Nashville and floathorizon.com.
Nerds! Dreaming of adventure beyond your backyard? NerdWallet can help you compare and find the smartest credit cards to get there. Use NerdWallet to compare travel cards with bonus miles to go from working from home to relaxing far, far away. Then use NerdWallet to compare cashback cards and turn everyday purchases into a beachside cabana big enough for the whole family.
Or sand for the 3rd tower.
She's the only boss you'll be answering to this week. Nice castle. Compare your way there. Find the smartest financial products for you on NerdWallet.
Want the latest on the Predators from the people that cover them?
Heck of a year so far for the Predators. They've been so much fun to watch.
Join Robbie Stanley for Preds Insiders every Monday at 6.
I feel probably as good about this group of 6 on D.
Presented by Dr. Kelly Rice on Smashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Interact with Darren, Donick, and Chase. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Don't forget, you can watch us streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook Live every day. Our video streaming brought to you by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. Special thanks to Jason Cole. Good stuff from him, as always, talking all things NFL. Don't forget, this hour, before we get out of here, we're going to give away a pair of tickets to see Collective Soul and Switchfoot at the Opry House on Sunday, September 11th. So keep that in mind before we get out of here this hour. So we talked about the new overtime rule changes, and I'm just not I know I could tell by Jason's answers, it's like, okay, where you been? It's like, okay, duh. Where's this been? My outrage is more of being universal. Like, I would like to see ties go away, period. They don't belong in the game. You know how I feel about ties. You know I am not a fan. This goes back a long ways. When hockey, it was acceptable to tie, and I said, this is baloney. Get rid of ties. And obviously a new CBA, they did. I don't want to see it in football either. I don't want to see ties, period. There should be a winner and a loser. And I understand football games can't go on forever, but certainly 10-minute overtime is not enhancing a winner, because
that I agree on.
The long sustained drives, it kills a chance. If the first team doesn't do it, probably the other team is you're not going to get a winner.
I 100% agree on the 10 minutes. I do think in the regular season, there has to be a limit on how long you'll let a game go. So I find it interesting, Darren, that you're against the really long baseball games. Like you're in favor of some of the changes baseball made, which I was more hesitant on. I'm coming around to it now. The ghost runner on second, or whatever you want to call him, the Manfred man, as Jason Stark likes to call him, Rob Manfred. The rule where you put the guy on second to start the 10th inning. To me, it's different in the playoffs. You want to do that. It's just like hockey has the system to salvage overtime in the regular season. I just don't know that it. So you've been to games. You have great stories of games you went to that went 15 innings. You're like, God, we got to get out of here. It's been too long.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't there a point in a football game in the regular season where it hits that? Like in theory, if you said no ties, you could have a game that really does go 3 overtimes.
If you talk to people in the business, if you talk to people that are privy to information behind the scenes, you will learn that the NFL, it's very important to them to keep games at a certain length.
Oh, yeah.
Very. They have no interest in being college football.
Right. So why do you feel so differently about that as opposed to baseball with the time?
Because I think they're very calculated, so it's not in some weird danger zone, or it's not been out of control, because they make sure they are very calculated. They want these games to end at a certain time. They do not want it to be 3.5, 4 hours.
Right, but you're against that if it means it's a tie.
Yeah, but they're not going to go. But they're not going to go 3.5, 4 hours. I mean, it's
they could.
No,
there'll be that one odd game that does.
Really?
Well, especially if you have rules where everybody's got to get the ball and the possessions. There's this slippery slope that you go down with trying to make it fair, as opposed to the other end of the spectrum, the island that D. Mace and Tim Hasselbeck were on together, that they're okay with the old philosophy of you want to win, stop the other team. If the other team gets the ball first, tough.
Derek and
stop them.
Tim were not worried about time or how long they played the game. And these are former players.
Yes. I think if you had the 15-minute limit, you would eliminate a few more ties. There's not a lot of ties. That was Jason's point. There aren't a lot of ties.
But
when you come down to it.
One is too many, in my opinion.
I can live with
2 is egregious. 3 is ridiculous.
Didn't we go back, Elijah? I think we put you on this during the season at some point. I apologize. I don't know if you remember, but the average amount of ties the last few years is maybe 2.
It's 1
3.
or 2 a year.
Yeah.
It's 1 or 2 too many.
If you had 3 in a season, that would be a big number.
A tie is a good thing. I don't know why teams aren't using this to their advantage. I've brought this up many times. A tie is a win. It's not a loss. That actually helps you in the standings. I don't know why coaches are not just playing for the tie.
Well, the last game of the regular season is the lead example of that. The Raiders-Chargers game that, both teams would have benefited from a tie.
Yes.
Of course.
Where's all the analytics people in the sport to tell them, hey, tie is a good thing?
But why did it come down to that? Because of the 10 minutes. If another 5 minutes were involved there, plausibly, that wouldn't have come down to that. There would have been another possession. You wouldn't have had that scenario, at least right then. I don't know. I do think that the postseason is different than the regular season. Like in baseball, I'm not for the ghost runner at second in a postseason game. And if the game goes 15 innings,
you can see him.
I know. Ghost
They're not dead.
The Manfred
They're
man
not
is
dead,
a better.
and you can see him. How's it a ghost runner?
It's the wrong term. The Manfred man is really the best term that I've heard. The Manfred man, the guy on second. I like that in the regular season. I don't like it in the postseason. So I think in football, the postseason overtime, I'm okay with a different set of rules for a postseason game. But this whole thing of each team has to have the ball, I wrestle with that. I still think if you could just not have so much riding on the coin toss, you'd win the battle. You'd be able to live with the consequences no matter what you set the rules as. Got to go for 2, got to be a touchdown, all of these things. If you just made the coin toss a tough decision by the consequences of what you do when you take the ball, then I think we would have this. A lot of this would be solved. I may be on my own island there. It's not near Derek and Tim's island, It's a different island. But I just don't. I wish they would look at that more. Like if I said you got the ball on the 5-yard line, would you take the ball if you win the coin toss?
Depends on my defense.
There you go.
Titans
and
2 years ago.
Strategy. That's
yes,
the strategy.
I would take the ball.
That's the strategy. Some teams would take the ball, but there would be some teams that would say, you know what, I like my defense against this offense.
Typically, if you're in the playoffs, you probably should like your defense. But Titans 2 years ago would have taken the ball.
The extreme example that we're all talking about is the Bills-Chiefs playoff game. We know that.
Yep.
And we knew as soon as that coin went up there, whichever way this goes.
Right, whoever got the ball was going to win, and the other team, the other fan base and the other team was going to be furious.
Right. Now, would it have changed if the coin toss in that particular game goes the Chiefs' way and they have to start on the 5 or the 7, whatever we deem more fair to the defense? On that day, probably it wouldn't have mattered. They could have started on their own 1, and they probably would have gone down there and scored, right? It seems like it anyway. But at least it would have been tougher. You got a chance. I think there's a difference. You know, that's 2 more first downs in theory you have to get just to get to the 25 or wherever you start from now. You start at the 25?
Yeah, I think
presuming that the kickoff is a non-issue like it usually is now.
The reason I thought that was intriguing is because I think then you are talking about decisions.
Yes.
And we're not.
At least there's a decision.
We're
Right
not
now,
having
the crowd goes
conversations.
nuts
Right.
on the coin toss.
Right.
Like the crowd shouldn't go nuts on the coin toss.
There's no
It's
decision
not that
now.
exciting.
Right.
Yeah.
We're getting some responses on our text line. Also, Corey wants to weigh in. We'll get to him on the other side as you listen to the DDC on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Do you have that one person or thing that just makes you mad? Join us every Friday at noon on the DDC for You Just Made the List. Fueled by Parman Energy. Visit ParmanEnergy.com, your one-stop petroleum solution, and try Star Movie on the DDC on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
You just made the list.
Victory Award-winning New Amsterdam Vodka knows all about it, but in life, it's not always so clear. So New Amsterdam Vodka believes that in life, you've got to find your own wins. You've got to overcome your fears, go all in, even when you've got nothing at all. Find your wins. And when you do, raise that glass of New Amsterdam Vodka in victory. You've earned it. New Amsterdam Spirits Company, Modesto, California.
Markdown Madness is almost over, but Electronic Express is still bringing slam dunk deals. Watch the finals with 4K TVs from Samsung, LG, Sony, Hisense, TCL, and more. We've also got huge savings in every department: computers and gaming, smart home, housewares, mattresses, and more. Plus, save up to 40% on all appliances with up to 36 months free financing. Shop in-store or online with free express delivery on most items. Experience Markdown Madness at Electronic Express. We make it happen.
For years, you've known Genesis as the premier jeweler here, where you can always find the most sought-after brands in fashion and bridal jewelry. Genesis carries the best of the best, brands that others aren't even allowed to carry. But now, Genesis takes it to a whole new level with a spectacular collection of luxury pre-owned Rolexes. If you've ever dreamed of owning the world's most revered brand, you owe it to yourself to get to Genesis now and see watches people wait years to get. Luxury pre-owned Rolex Submariners, Hulks, Daytonas, Batmans, and so many others. We've scoured the country hand-selecting only the best for our showcases. The most popular models, the most well-cared for, the ones most in demand. So don't wait any longer. Reward yourself or someone you love today with a luxury pre-owned Rolex from Genesis. It's just another way Genesis Diamonds does whatever it takes to bring you only the world's best. Genesis Diamonds and luxury pre-owned Rolexes in Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Hey, it's Jared from my official sportsbook app, the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers a $150 instant bonus guaranteed. That's right, you'll get $150 in bonus site credit, and all you have to do is place your first bet of $5 or more. How you bet the bracket is up to you. You can choose from the money line, totals, prop bets, and so much more. I'm going to go with Duke getting their way to the national championship game. But I also have a good feeling about Villanova. It should be great in March. Join FanDuel with the promo code JGM, and then you can place your $5 bet to score $150 in bonus site credit guaranteed. Again, the promo code is JGM. on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. 21 and older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager, only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 14 days after receipt and restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line, 1-800-889-9789.
ESPN's Teron Davenport breaks down the Titans like no other.
On the field chemistry, I don't think it's going to be a problem. It's just going to be a process.
Catch TD Mondays at 11, Thursdays at 3, and Fridays at 8. Plus, the Talking with TD podcast drops every Wednesday.
When you draft players, it's not just for one season, it's for a career.
Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, this is Penny Hardaway, University of Memphis coach. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 1025 The Game.
We're discussing the new overtime rule. So we looked up during the break. How many ties have there been since 2012? So in the last decade, let's go to our crack staff desk, Elijah Campbell, here at the Hillside Medical Game Studio. How many ties have we had in the National Football League since 2012, Elijah?
Since 2012, the NFL has had 10 ties. 5 from
basically
2012-16.
one a year.
Yeah, and apparently they made the change to the minutes in 2017.
17. So half the time they had look, in 15 minutes it was going to be harder. In 10 minutes, I guarantee you it's accelerated. I'd love to know the breakdown of 12 to 17, how many ties there were. Probably 2.
So from 2012 to 2016, when that first rule was changed, there were ties on 6% of overtime games. Since the change from 15 minutes to 10 minutes,
gone way up
by 1%, 7%
really?
of tie or overtime games in the NFL since the time change was made.
Okay,
7% of those games.
Stand corrected. All right, good stuff.
So we're not talking about a lot of ties.
But like I said,
that was Jason's point back
many.
to you. Jason Cole, our guest earlier this hour, he was like, you're bent out of shape on the ties. There really aren't that many ties.
Yeah, but again, 1 is too many.
Okay, I know. All right. The world's not a perfect place.
Corey Curtis, News 2, wants to weigh in. Corey, what's up?
Okay, I support you fully, Darren. There should be no ties ever. And if they're worried about how long the games are being played, you're talking about 10 games in 10 years that would have been played a little bit longer. That's not enough to wear out teams for a season, okay? You're talking about 1 game a year that goes a little bit extra. So that excuse doesn't wash with me. Now, listen, I am on the island of playing sudden death, okay? And I realize Mike Tomlin and I...
You realize you'd have to live with D. Mace and Tim Hasselbeck. Is that okay with you, Corey?
I'm good. And Mike Tomlin would be there with us, too.
Yes, he would. That was established yesterday. You're right.
Because I agree. You've had 60 minutes to win this football game. Don't let it come down to a coin toss, all right? Or how about this? Play defense. It's a novel idea. You know, you don't just have to be an offensive juggernaut. You can play defense. And the last thing I'll bring up, and I don't know what the overall numbers are, last year the Titans played 3 overtime games. Do you know how many of those were determined by the coin toss?
None.
None of them. Not a single one. Now, in the playoffs, I get it. Because in the playoffs, you have elite quarterbacks where the coin toss is much more likely to be important. So I would be willing to discuss changing the playoff format, much like you have in hockey, where you've got, sudden death overtime in the regular season, that's 5 minutes, and then you go on and you go to your shootout. But in the playoffs, it changes. So I would be willing to do a sudden death in the regular season and then change for the playoffs because of the change in quarterback play largely that you're going to get there. But I fight with people about this all the time. Sudden death to me is the most efficient way to go. And, Jason said it, when he talked about kicking off, play the game. Play the game. Don't fear one part of your game. If you fear that your defense is so bad that you can't win if you lose a coin toss, then that's on you. Go get a better defense.
So Corey, do you support my proposal of at least making it a little tougher on the offense, especially if you're gonna go sudden death,
Sure.
that you have to start deeper in your own territory?
If
that's fair?
what they want to do, then that's fine. Then that's fine. But if you want to say you're going to start on the 10 or you're going to start on the 15, we're not going to kick off again. You're going to have to start a little. fine. But again, I will live on the sudden death island with Tim and D-Mace and Mike Tomlin, and we will have beers and pizza, and we will watch people, say it's not fair because their defense stinks.
All right, I'm going to challenge you on one other thing you said, Corey.
Okay.
Because let's just take the 3 Titans games that went to overtime. We'll go back through them. When you say it didn't come down to the coin toss, that is true because the team that got the ball didn't go down and score the touchdown. By definition,
they didn't win. They didn't win the game.
But did the team that win the coin toss eventually win? Because you get more. You could get an extra possession if it goes. 2 possessions for you, 1 for me. That's an advantage for winning the coin toss.
Are we always going to play where it's not baseball? Okay, you're not always going to have a bottom of the inning.
Right.
All right. At some point, you got to get a stop.
Yes.
You didn't get it in the first 60 minutes, okay? At some point, you're going to have to get a stop.
I'm just trying to take the advantage away. This is, again, we have to put our crack staff on it. What percentage of the time does the team that wins the coin toss win the game in overtime?
I don't know, but okay, a couple years ago, Aaron Rodgers either fumbled or threw a pick six in overtime on the opening possession. It was like the second play. Was it fair because the Packers defense didn't get a chance to go out there and score?
I see what you're saying, yes.
The Titans lost an overtime game to the Lions when I think Billy Volek got sacked for a safety.
That was the Bears. The Bears,
because
yeah.
The Titans defense did not get to go out there and get a chance to get a safety of their own. I mean, you could pick and choose what's fair, what's not fair. Like Jason said, and I agree with it, play the game. You're good enough or you're not at the end of the day.
How could you not remember the game against the Bears?
I know, Corey. This was the Bears that sacked Billy Volek.
As you call in with your Darrington Evans Bears jersey on right now. How could you not remember that?
I just remember Fred Miller playing on one leg.
That was a rough day.
Do you have a Darrington Evans Bears jersey? Are they for sale?
I'm not sure. It was funny because I was at the Combine when somebody asked John Robinson, somebody not from Nashville, asked John Robinson about Darrington Evans. And, his eye came up like The Rock. He's like, what?
The people's eyebrow?
Yeah, he gave him the people's eyebrows. He's like, who are you talking about? And the guy's like, yeah, third-round pick. And when J-Rob walked away, I looked at the guy and said, they hate him. And he's like, what? I'm like, they hate him. He's not going to be on the team. He got released like 5 days later.
Yeah. I think I saw or read this morning, it was to answer your question, Willie, I think, as Elijah's looking this stuff up, I think it was 56%, I believe is the number I saw.
Which doesn't seem like a huge advantage, but that's an advantage. It just, to me, this is my point. It's an advantage enough to where it's a no-brainer that you take the ball. I just would like to put a little more drama in the decision.
Kick off and put his defense out there.
It rarely happens.
And win the game.
Oh yeah, no, it has happened, but it just almost never happens. I mean, 99% of the time, the team that wins the coin toss takes the ball.
If you don't take the ball, you're telling the world our quarterback stinks.
Exactly. So it's not a decision. The crowd shouldn't go wild when you win the coin toss. The crowd should be like, okay, our defense is going. Let's put a decision in there.
Yeah. Look, with the Titans front seven the way it is right now, are you terrified if they don't win the coin toss?
No, but you're at a disadvantage. You're at a disadvantage if you lose the coin toss in overtime. That's what we're trying to fix.
If you can get a 3-and-out, if your defense goes out there and does what it is paid millions of dollars to do, you can definitely gain a field position advantage on the exchange of possession. If your defense does what it's paid to do.
Yes, that's true, but that's why I still say though it's an then why is it an advantage? And everybody takes the ball when they win the coin toss. Make it so it's a little tougher.
In their quarterback.
It's an offensive-driven league for sure.
Yeah, it is. You know what?
I would be willing to play the sudden death.
Around with this, guys. Winning regulation.
I think there's a lot more people in that camp with you, Corey, and D-Mace.
Oh, I know. I get people who hate me for this.
It's going to be a very popular island, though. I think there'd be enough people on your island.
You'd be surprised. Yeah. This is not Tom Hanks and Wilson. I think you guys would actually have a lot of people on your island.
I thought it was. I put out a tweet yesterday inviting people to join me on my island with Mike Tomlin.
I think you'd be surprised. You'd have
but
a lot bigger crowd.
Everyone in my office not just disagrees with me, vehemently disagrees with me.
I would say clean up your island because I think you're going to have some guests. I'm just saying. Make sure it's clean.
You know what? Maybe we're going to put a multi-floor structure up. maybe it'll be like a resort.
You know what you should do?
And then Harrison Ford will
Corey,
fly the plane out there 6 days, 7 nights.
How about this? Enclose your island. How about that, huh? Put a roof on it. Put a roof on it, Corey.
It's
climate control.
A retractable roof if I need the state money, okay? I can't afford it on my own, so I got to put a retractable roof in there to get the investment from the state.
All right, real quick, since you've been here so long like us, okay, where do you think ultimately this – when are we going to know more? When are we going to get renderings? When is this going to be real? When's the shovel going to get in the ground? Where are we going?
Look, I've been talking about this for a few years, and I think you have too, Darren.
Yep.
This has been the inevitable future, okay? And, there are people who go kicking and screaming against the future all the time. This has been the inevitable future of this team, of this stadium, and of this city. And the fact that Burke Nihill goes before, the sports authority, and, that wasn't like a presentation. That was just an update on where they're at. And it's dropping on them, hey, we can be ready to go by 2026. We can have, we can have the World Cup there, and we can do this, and we can do this. And like a month later, Governor Lee is coming out with $500 million, which, by the way, is like double what Nissan Stadium cost. And that's like 1/5 of the cost of a future dome stadium. But I think everybody sees the urgency in this. And I think it's going to happen a heck of a lot faster than people do. I will only say this. That dome stadium, which I hope is a retractable roof because I like the outdoors, it will be up. I don't know if I'm going to say by 2026.
Oh, it's got to be. It's got to be.
I would hope so, but it's such a big project. But it will be within it will be in the 26 to 28 time frame, but probably closer to 26.
Well, good stuff. Hey,
because the Titans are working on it. Look, they're working on it.
They are.
I mean, they've looked around. They looked around to see what their facility needed to be, and I'm talking about St. Thomas Sports Park. And I got a chance to go in there the other day, and it's like a real NFL building now. It's amazing, and I congratulate them. So they've been doing their homework on what they want this stadium to be. And I think the really interesting question here is, do they want the $500 million?
Yes.
Because they may not. They
do.
may just want to. They may want the money in their pocket from building this stadium and everything that comes through there. I could be wrong, but we have to see the answer to that question.
It is nice to know their facility is nicer than Innsworth now, so I agree with you. Corey, good stuff. We'll talk soon.
All right. Thanks for having me on, guys. I'm sorry to hijack.
No, you're good. You're good. We liked it. Corey Curtis, News 2. Good stuff from him. Eric wants to win. A lot more feedback. We'll do that to wrap up the second hour next.
Hey, this is Matt Duchene, and this is Smashville.
Drummond down the left side with Duchene. Duchene scores! Matt Duchene with the overtime winner.
You're listening to the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
From Fox 17 News, this is a Code Red weather alert.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Cloudy, windy, and warm today with highs near records before strong to severe storms move in this afternoon and evening.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Nothing makes one feel better than the ability to give to someone in need. You have the power to give the most important gift of all, the gift of life, with a donation of your blood. Supplies are desperately low in our area, and your help is needed. Blood Assurance is a nonprofit community blood center that supplies our Middle Tennessee area hospitals. Please find it in your heart to donate. Be someone's hero today. Go to bloodassurance.org to find a location or blood drive near you. That's bloodassurance.org. Give blood, give local, save lives with Blood Assurance.
Trying to find a new home right now is next to impossible. Very little inventory, prices are crazy high, rates are moving up. Here's a better idea. Let my friends at Loan Pronto refinance your current home, turn all that equity you have into cash, and totally transform your house. A new kitchen, new bathroom, a pool. Think about it. Your home value is up. Instead of wasting all that on an overpriced new house, convert that equity into cash for a home makeover. One local couple did it and got $200,000 out. They added new hardwoods, an outdoor living space, a swimming pool with spa and all new cabinets and appliances, plus a home office. Now they have their dream home, and they never had to move. Call Loan Pronto. Ask about their home improvement refi. Give your home a total makeover and do it now. You can even skip your next house payment in the process. Call now, 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval.
Realizing Geico is your one-stop shop for all your insurance needs is like realizing you can just toss the whole measuring cup into the washer so it won't get gunked up with laundry detergent.
I guess it doesn't work for coffee mugs, huh?
It's something that's been right in front of you this whole time, like how Geico offers 24/7 emergency roadside service to help you when you need it most. Or how athletic wristbands aren't for your wrists, they're for wiping sweat off your forehead.
Great. So, what are headbands for?
80s night at the dance club. Woo!
It's something you can't believe you never realized before, like how Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance, with even more ways to save when you add boat, motorcycle, and RV insurance. Or how a pony is its own animal and not just a baby horse.
So, what's a baby pony called?
Getting more ways to save. It's just one of the many reasons to switch to Geico. They're all right there in front of you.
A show that doesn't pull any punches.
And they win a playoff game and they get to the divisional round and he doesn't give up a sack the rest of the year. I don't give two poops. I'm done.
And has an opinion on everything.
That ref crew that was just terrible. Threw flags on almost every possession.
Jared Stillman hosts Stillman and Company.
Tough guy. He's a really tough guy.
Weekday afternoons from 2 to 6. Delivered by TriStar Moving on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app. If you've missed any of today's show, just search Darren, Donick, and Chase on Apple, Spotify, or on your favorite podcast platform.
We'll talk to Rob Stanley from Robbie and Rex Road coming up at high noon. Chris Mason at 1 o'clock. Good discussions on the new overtime changes. Eric wants to weigh in on our phone line driven by Wilson County Hyundai.com. Eric, what's up?
Hey, guys, usually I call in, of course, for This Is What I Know, and you just made the list, but now you're talking about a topic I'm kind of fired up about. I guess you're going to put me on that island, too, because I did not like this, guys. I'm a guy. It seems like we're more and more wanting to get away from this, and, of course, what's the old saying? Offense sells tickets, but defense wins championship, and it's just another step where we're trying to just legislate defense out of the NFL. And, guys, here's the thing about it is if they were going to do a change, I would have rather somebody came up with this idea. I can't remember who it was a while back. I would rather them do this, just not have a coin flip in overtime. Whoever has the possession, just let them continue on drives. If they score it, the game's over, and do it that way, guys. One of the things, I guess, if there is a benefit to it now, it'll place a strategy now where people who win the coin flip now may decide, well, since we get a possession too, we're just going to let the other team have the ball first, and maybe we'll go second after that. Maybe that's probably, I guess.
Well, wait a minute. Explain whoever had the ball last would get
wins the coin flip at overtime may decide, well, we're not going to take the ball. We'll just give it to the other team.
No. You said skip the coin flip. Did you say the team that had possession last would get the ball first?
No. I'm just saying skip the coin flip. If they're still driving, just let whoever has the ball continually drive down, start, I guess, just flip the field and start wherever they is with the ball like a regular quarter, and if they score, the game's over that way.
Oh, so you're just saying pick up where you left off. Okay.
Yeah. I would have no problem if you wanted to do that. That wouldn't bother me at all. But here's my thing against it, guys. Of course, you haven't. Of course, Josh has. He gets a touchdown. Then after that, you could have things happen like turnovers or fumbles or whatever. The game could continue to go on. Or Patrick Mahomes then gets the ball and he goes back and scores a touchdown. The game will be over. We'll say then they'll just say, well, the defense could have stopped him. All of this is just an extra possession to me in that case. Or what if Patrick Mahomes goes back and he gets hurt? I mean, what are people going to say then if that happens? I mean, if you just elongate the game. Guys, I'm just to the point where, I just wonder, too, if in today's NFL, if guys like in the past, like the great defensive players like a Lawrence Taylor or Ray Lewis or the great like Bears 46 defense or the Ravens historic defense, if they would have been able to play as well or been as effective in today's NFL, I just don't know if that would have been the case. I'm just, to me, there are 11 guys on both sides of the field, and I think defense needs to make some stops. I mean, I was so happy when Cincinnati got an interception overtime after Kansas City won the flip because everybody just assumed Kansas City was going to win.
Yeah.
And my also other point, too, was that Buffalo had 13 seconds to stop Kansas City from going down the field to force overtime, which they didn't do. It just gets to a point where defense has to make a play, and I think we're just prisoners of the moment. Everybody wants to continuously shoot out the great quarterbacks, keep throwing the ball, and there's also 11 other guys on the other side of the defense that can make plays. And it's like, to me, we're just trying to legislate defense out of football, guys, and that's just my thoughts on it, guys.
Thank you, Eric.
Y'all take care.
See you Friday at noon. He's always got somebody to put on the list or something.
Oh, yeah.
Andrew on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com. Call me strange, but I hate dome stadiums. I've been to Mercedes, NRG, Lucas Oil. I can't stand a 70-degree game all week of the year. Outdoor football in December and January seems to be much better in my opinion. Yes, even with the wind and -2 degrees, if you need perfect conditions to attend a game, I think you should stay home. Well, the problem is, Andrew, that's exactly what people are doing. So that's not a good thing. And look, you're entitled to your opinion.
That's why ideally
I vehemently disagree, but because guess what? People will stay home. I would have no desire, zero, to sit in that game against Miami this year. Zero. What is attractive about sitting in a downpour for 3 hours? Nothing. The answer is absolutely nothing when you can watch it at home on your 70-inch TV with a cold one in your hand. Nothing. But, you're entitled to that. I have said in every condition that there is outdoors for football or any outdoor sporting event, and I can tell you maybe it's an age thing. I get it, Andrew. I don't know your age. Maybe you're young. Maybe, your tolerance level is a lot higher when you're young. You tend to care less. As you get older, you tend to care more about this stuff. You tend to be more of a snob about this stuff. I've admitted I've become a snob on things. I don't want to be sitting outdoors if it's not perfect. I just don't. It's not attractive to me.
But at the same time,
there's a lot of other people who feel that way too.
A lot of people will agree with him, though.
Of course, yes.
That's why ideally the retractable roof is the way to go. But
that's my first preference.
Yes,
but
the cost,
it may be too expensive.
Yes.
I don't know.
I have come around to the roof thing because I'm with you. I think the further we go, the less people will be willing to sit in the elements.
I'm not interested in lightning strike games. By the way, that's another thing. I've been to lightning strike games.
It happens a lot here.
It happens a lot. There was a Tennessee football game.
Oh, yeah.
They started their season off at Nissan Stadium, and it was delayed, an hour and a half. You know what I did? I left. I went home. I left because I didn't have any interest. It was still way too early in the game, and they delayed it for an hour and a half, 2 hours.
You didn't have fun just standing underneath the bleachers?
No, I left.
Thousands of people huddled together for you don't know how long? Or going to the gym, at Memorial Gym?
And I've done that, Willie. Thank you.
Yes.
I was at a Lightning Strike Vanderbilt game.
Yeah. They put everybody in the gym.
What? They moved us to a hot gym because it doesn't have air conditioning. And it was September, and it was 190 degrees in that gym. And they wouldn't let my son go play basketball because at least that could have been something to distract him. We couldn't go down to the court and shoot basketball. So you know what we did eventually? We left. We didn't go back to the game. We left. That's not appealing to me. Sorry. We tried. I don't want to sit through 2-hour lightning strike.
And at the same time, I sympathize. I don't like sitting in the Georgia Dome. I've been to a lot of games in the Georgia Dome. They're not exciting. The Georgia Dome, the old traditional dome,
but that was
not exciting.
Domes. I've been to the Pontiac Silverdome. I've been to the Georgia Dome. I've been the white, the Superdome. I've been to, but that's not today's dome. Today is a glass dome.
That's why the windows and everything is the key to try to create some semblance of we're outdoors.
And like I said, everybody's entitled. He's entitled to his opinion. That's fine. If he wants to sit in -2 degrees, have at it, man. Not me. Those days are gone. I've done it. I've sat in a blizzard at Orchard Park. Vikings, Bills. Probably had 14 inches of snow during the course of the game. I remember it. I was a lot younger. It was in the 90s. And I was much more tolerable. May have had some bourbon in my veins, too, that kept me warm. But today, I don't have any interest in doing that. I did then, and I was okay with it. But I don't want to do that today. That's just me. And oh, by the way, it's not really about, for me, it's about what can the city do? What can the city get? By the way, leagues also tell you if you're open air, we've already had these discussions with Bill Hancock and others, if you don't have an enclosed stadium, we have no interest in coming to your really, really cool city that's very attractive. Close it, and we're coming. So it's really not about how I feel about it. It's about getting the big ticket items to our market. And you need a roof to do that.
Mm-hmm.
The ceiling is the roof.
Thank you, Michael.
Yep.
That's true.
Yep.
That is very true. That is a true statement. It really is. We'll come back. We'll talk with Robbie Stanley. By the way, Heidi from Dixon on our text line says, no ties. No ties. I'm with Heidi. No ties. Who wants to see a tie?
Also, final stat Elijah has put together, teams that win the coin toss score a touchdown on the first drive to end the game 21% of the time. Was that only in 2021?
That was the 2021 regular season. There were 19 overtime games. 4 ended on a first drive.
Okay,
touchdown.
so that was just last year.
Yes.
I would say that's probably pretty consistent over the years. I'd love to see year to year. But to me, that's data that's worthy of looking at.
By the way, Andrew has weighed back in and said, my 10-year-old son loved the Miami game.
Okay.
I have a 10-year-old too,
him.
Andrew, and good for him. Good for him. I mean, wow. I'm sure he did. Probably did, right? A 10-year-old would love a downpour for 3 hours. My son loves to.
Sick.
My 10-year-old loves to be wet too. I don't know what the fascination is with being wet, but he loves being wet too. And I'm like, what do you? Why do you always want to be
wet?
Drenched?
Is one thing. Cold and wet is a bad combo.
that's a bad combo. All right, we'll come back. Robbie Stanley to kick off third hour next.
Your home of the Nashville Predators.
Forsberg, the shot, he scored! Philip Forsberg scores! Oh, my!
ESPN
102.5 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Race fans, it's time to fire up the engines at everyone's favorite local track, the Fairgrounds Speedway. Opening night is April 2nd. Nashville will celebrate 118 years of auto racing at the fairground with the pro late models, limited late models, street stocks, pure stocks, legends, and bandoleros. Get your tickets today at NashvilleFairgroundsSpeedway.racing and be there to kick off the 118th year at Nashville's legendary track. It's opening night at the Fairgrounds Speedway. Coming up April 2nd. Get your tickets today.
Finding the right person for the job isn't easy. Just ask someone who hired a lounge singer to be their office receptionist.
Hello, this is Mickey Marquis, and you've reached the office of Doug & Associates. Thank you very much. Catch me Tuesday nights at the Hotel Johnson. Hello?
But if you've got an insurance question, you can always count on your local Geico agent. They can bundle your policies, which could save you hundreds.
Doug & Associates, this is Mickey Marquis. Hello?
For expert help with all your insurance needs, visit geico.com/local today.
And now it's Geico's Motorcycle Rules of the Road. Avoid biking in the rain and never touch another person's bike.
Hey guys, look at these bikes. So shiny. Whoops. I'm gonna leave a note. Oh gosh, there's more.
And the rule to saving on motorcycle insurance is, in 15 minutes, Geico could save you 15% or more.
Spring is in the air, and that means all kinds of fun in the sun is just around the corner. But if you're feeling low energy, if you've put on weight and just aren't getting the gains from your workouts, if you aren't sleeping well and your libido isn't what it used to be, maybe you aren't looking forward so much to sunny days and shirtless weather. This is Kim for the Tennessee Men's Clinic, and if this sounds like you, we might very well have the answer, because you may very well be suffering from low testosterone. And that, my friend, is something that can be effectively treated to get you back to the guy you used to be. The Tennessee Men's Clinic has treated thousands of men for low T. Our treatment programs are highly effective with most men seeing results in just a few weeks. Assuming you're like most guys, you'll sleep better, have better workouts, have higher energy, and your sex life might just improve as well. So give us a call. Just $99 gets you a PSA and T-test and a medical consult. Call 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090. Or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Visit our website to learn more, including side effects. Treatments extra. Results vary.
Come float at Float Horizon in East Nashville. Come float to relax, recharge, renew. Float to boost your mood and enjoy a pleasant afterglow that lasts for days. Float to escape or meditate. And come float for half off with Nashville's best deal of the week. Experience a 60-minute float session for just $39.50. Go to thegamenashville.com/deals to get your float on today. Lay back and experience the wonders of true relaxation at Float Horizon at 1012 Russell Street in Nashville and floathorizon.com.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, broadcasting 97.5 Murfreesboro, 106.3 Williamson County,
ESPN
102.5 The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell media station.
Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's time for Darren, Donick, and Chase. With hosts Darren McFarland, Willie Donick, and Chase McCabe. On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game.
Third hour DDC. Darren McFarland, Willie Donick on what could be a very gusty, windy day. Of course, our next guest
it already is gusting.
Our next guest doesn't care. Willie doesn't care how windy it is. It could be 50-mile-an-hour gust. He doesn't care. Robbie Stanley, could you punch him in? Thank you, Elijah. Not punch him in. Yeah, that didn't sound right.
I was going to say, Will Smith's really rubbed off on you.
Like. Wow, nice.
It was only a slap. It wasn't a punch.
I heard Chris Rock's tickets are selling quite well, by the way. As I said on Monday, his tour is probably going to sell out just because of the slap. He's one half of Robbie and Rexroad. He's Robbie Stanley. He joins us. He's a good dude. Rob, what's up?
Hopefully I'm not about to be punched by Elijah, but other than that, I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
No punches on this show. No punches.
That's right.
May have punch line, but no punches. Yes.
That's right.
By the way, I heard your guys, Coach K, Saban, it was your question, and Belichick, which we're going to talk about after this. I think it's really interesting because Krzyzewski is without a doubt dead last on my list, but that's not true, though. I started thinking about it more because we are going to ask people who is dead last on your list, a coach that you would never root for. And I thought it would be Krzyzewski. I thought about it during one of the breaks because I knew we were going there after we talked to you. Actually, there's one that's below him, but you'll have to wait till the next segment to find out.
I have a guess.
I like
Can
that.
you believe it? It's one below. There's one below, Coach K.
I have a guess.
I can't believe it because I know it's not Nick Saban because you and him are close personal friends from his time on the show.
We've actually become chummy. Yeah, we've actually become chummy. He would have been my number one to your question. He was my number one. Nate on our text line said Darren would pull for Louisville over Coach K. There's maybe some truth to that. We'll get to that after you. All right. I brought this up. It's not a theory. I don't know. It's just something I've been thinking about, and I want you to weigh in on this. Nathan McKinnon, Minnesota and Colorado collided over the weekend. Intense game. Dumba with a big hit. Imagine that. Nathan McKinnon took exception. Nathan McKinnon was first on the scene, and Nathan McKinnon dropped the mitts and fought Dumba. On one hand, you're like, wow, okay, man. Full marks. Guy's got a letter on his jersey. I bet his teammates really appreciate that. Superstar in the league. Well, here's the problem. Guess who didn't play against Calgary last night? Nathan McKinnon. He was out.
Yep.
Guess what? Bednar was asked about his status. The question was phrased, what's your level of concern? He answered it with one word. He said, high. There's a lot of people out there that are starting to go, did he break his hand? in that fight because he was in the penalty box with a big bag of ice. Could you imagine if McKinnon is out for 4 to 6 weeks, what the reaction will be? So it leads me to this. Has Tanner Jeannot now earned the discussion of he's too important to be sitting in the box for 5 minutes, that it's time to tell Tanner Jeannot, yeah, we really, really, really need you to pick your spots. Like it needs to be over-the-top egregious because we'd rather have you on the ice rather than fighting and sitting in the box for 5 minutes. What do you think about that?
Well, I think pick his spots for sure. Like, do I think he needs to completely stop fighting? No, because I think the way that he plays the game and how aggressive he is, I mean, that's just going to lend itself to more fights. I mean, I guess the question I have for the rest of the league is, like, have we reached the point where maybe you should stop trying to fight Tanner Jeannot? That's kind of like the question I have for teams because it doesn't seem to be going very well for people. But, no, I mean, look, I think he should be more selective. He's got 23 goals on the season. And, look, I think it's pretty clear when he's not in there, especially when he's not on that line with Sissons and Trennan, they're not as good. I mean, I don't think there's any question about it. So, there's a lot of different factors for the style of play that the Predators have and, how successful they've been in this new gritty, tough style. I don't know that anybody is more personally responsible for that style than Tanner Jeannot, than what he brings to the table. So should he be more selective? Yes, because to your point, they need him on the ice way more than they need him in a fight and getting in the penalty box right after that. But I don't think that fighting should be something that he just takes out of his game altogether.
Well, I'll tell you when I first started thinking of this, and then it was enhanced later that night with the McKinnon fight. But if you remember, and it was a heavyweight fight, and don't get me wrong, it's great for the fans, it's great for the media, everybody in attendance to watch that heavyweight fight, Jeannot and Hodgson. But, I did see Tanner Jeannot getting his hand worked on a lot on the bench. So that's when I was like, don't need him to be missing at any point. It's not even more about the fight. At the time, I wasn't even thinking about just the 5 minutes. I'm thinking, down this stretch run, these games are going to get tight. The standings are tight. They need him in the lineup. They saw, and I'm not saying they lost 6-1 to Vegas because Tanner wasn't in there, but he's a key guy. He's a key guy. They need him for the stretch run.
Well, they do, and the goal scoring is really reason enough, right? He's got 23 goals, and he's a guy that can score goals in different ways. Like, he has become a guy that is very good at redirecting pucks. He's in hard on the forecheck. That's how he scored his goal last night. Like, he can do it in some different ways. He can score goals on the rush and pick the corner too. So, I think I'm still at times kind of blown away with how skilled he is offensively. And to your point, like, you don't want Tanner Jeannot missing games with a broken hand down the stretch. So, look, I think just by the way that things are going to be coming down the stretch here, the closer you get to playoffs, and certainly once you get into the playoffs, fighting isn't as much as a thing because people are more worried about the game itself. But certainly they need Tanner Jeannot on the ice as much as possible. He's been awesome for this team.
Robbie Stanley's with us. Robbie, clearly the Predators are not having easy times with teams that are out of the playoff race. Last night being an example, that was a tough struggle. They got it done. Same thing with the Flyers on Sunday. Now they go to Buffalo. How about the Sabres in the month of March? Robbie, here are their victims. Maple Leafs, twice, by a combined score of 10-3. Minnesota, Pittsburgh, Vancouver, Calgary. They've beaten all these teams in the last month. The last 5 games have been decided in overtime or by 1 goal, and most of them are against playoff contenders. So Buffalo's playing really, really well right now. So if you have any thought of, hey, you're just going to zip up to Buffalo and grab 2 points, I think that's going to be something you need to think about.
Well, Willie, to that point, if I'm John Hines, I'm bringing that up a lot over the course of the next 2 days. Like, first off, I don't think the Predators are really anywhere near their top form of their game right now, and it's good that they found ways to win the last 2. I thought Saros was sensational last night, but look, if you're the Predators, you got to find your game again coming down the stretch because you do have Buffalo coming up on Friday. You need to win that game, and as you pointed out, Willie, they've been a pest as of late for some of the teams that they played. But then after that, I mean, the schedule starts to get rough. I mean, you've got Minnesota, who's as hot as any team in the league right now, coming in next week. we read off the final 7 games of the season for the Predators today on the show, and it's pretty incredible. Like, it's pretty brutal coming down the stretch for the Predators with some of the teams they've got to play. So more than anything, if you're John Hines, you got to find a way to get your team to find their game again, because they're going to need it coming down the stretch with the quality of the schedule that they got left on, coming up in the next couple of weeks.
I think that's definitely something to look at, is the schedule is going to get pretty tough. And the other part of the equation is, with Dallas winning last night, Vegas looks like they're showing signs of life. Certainly the Predators found that out the other day. You've got at least 9 teams. That's not even counting Winnipeg, who still has a heartbeat, and Vancouver, who's fading a little bit. But somewhere in here, there's going to be a good team that doesn't have space to get into the playoffs here. So no matter how good you might feel on a particular day after you get your 2 points, you can't afford to relax at all.
No, and it seems like Vegas and Dallas are finding ways to win on almost a nightly basis right now, too. I mean, I was watching the Vegas game the other day. They were losing 3-0 to Chicago. I think it was on Saturday. And then Chicago, in typical Blackhawks fashion as of late, just totally blows it for you if you're a Predators fan. And they end up winning the game in overtime, Vegas does, on a guy that they traded. And then NHL voided the trade. So you just need every point you can get right now if you're the Predators. And, look, I thought it was good to see guys like McCarron score last night. And, you didn't get much production from Duchesne, even though I know he got the last goal of the game in Forsberg. Those guys have been carrying the team all year long. Yossi didn't have a point last night, so it's good to be able to win a game when those guys aren't producing offensively. But I still think there are some areas of their game, their puck management. I think the D-zone coverage has got to get better as they go down the stretch. They got to get healthier on the defensive side of things as well. So there's a lot still to work on if you're the Predators, and they're in a good spot. I think I read off this morning on MoneyPuck.com. They've got like a 93% chance to make the playoffs, which is great. But by no means you can't rest on your laurels or anything right now if you're the Predators. There's still a lot of work left to be done in the regular season.
Yeah, you're right. And I always shudder when I look at the percentage, because that percentage can change so much. But I think the way I look at it, Robbie, is how many points are you away from getting to the point total? I think if you look at 96, 98, then I think you're really in good shape. 100, I think, seals it. So to me, it's like shoot for that 100 points. If you get your 100 points, you're going to be in there.
Yeah, I think so too. And you look at the team coming down the stretch here. A lot of times they've played their best hockey when they've played against some of the best opponents, and that's what you're hoping for if you're a Predators fan coming down the stretch here. Is with some of these games at home that you got a lot of Tuesday night home games, especially coming up, you got to be able to take advantage of that. You got Calgary twice coming down the stretch. You got more games with Colorado and St. Louis and Minnesota, and a lot of these games could directly affect not only getting into the playoffs, but who your first-round opponent's going to be as well. So there's a lot still to play for if you're the Predators, and it's good that they're finding ways to win games. I'm not going to sit here and give them a ton of credit for beating Ottawa last night. That's a team that you could beat, but you're beating the teams that you need to beat and collecting points. I said it heading into this week. To me, the Predators needed to grab all 6 points this week. Philly, Ottawa, and Buffalo. They got 4 of the 6. They'll have an opportunity to get 2 more coming up on Friday. If you can do that, regardless of the way that they've looked, which at times has not been great this week, it's all about getting the points this time of the year, and they're still got a chance to get all 6, which would be, I think, a huge thing for this team this week.
Robbie, great job, as always. Good luck to you and, of course, Damon's Dingers, which is a subject that nobody's interested in except for you, me, and the other 20-some-odd people in the Sim League that we're in. But I bring that up from time to time with guests, and people don't know what we're talking about. But you know what I am.
I do, and it's off to a rough start, but there's still a lot of time left, Willie.
Okay, good. It's a long season.
That's right.
All right, Robbie, we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys.
All right. That's Robbie Stanley talking Predators here on 102.5 The Game. When we come back, are we going to do the Coach K?
I'm going to reveal, and I want people to weigh in.
There will be a big reveal.
Text or phone line. The one coach you would never, and I mean ever, 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 ever root to win a championship. Who would that be?
Okay. So you're not even restricting it to the 3 that you threw out there. You're just saying whoever it is.
No, we're going to broaden it
out.
One
guy. Okay.
The one coach who is dead last on your list.
You would root for anyone over this coach. Okay.
We'll do that next.
Finishing journalism.
They are 2 scores behind you. The math says that increases your chances of winning.
With sports fandom.
I stayed up till 1:30 in the morning, just emotionally numb from Titans and Packers.
And sarcasm.
You guys are the worst.
Robbie Stanley and Joe Rexrode are Robbie and Rexrode. No duh. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10. Brought to you by Little Guys Movers on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
The 2022 Major League Soccer season is officially here, and Nashville SC's new home, Geodis Park, is nearly complete. Don't miss Nashville SC's home opener May 1st. Secure your season tickets now. Come on and grab a seat at NashvilleSC.com/22ticks.
Hey, it's Mike from Newton Nissan South. It's March, and you gotta ask yourself one question. Do you feel lucky? Well, do you? We hope you feel lucky, because we're handing out luck all month long in Newton. We have great deals in both our sales and service departments. We have deals on the cars, trucks, and SUVs you've been looking for. That's not all. We're gonna give you top dollar for your trade, and we're gonna give you a great deal on your next car. Essentially, save you money and make you money at the same time. Thomas Jefferson once said, "I'm a great believer in luck, and I find the harder I work, the more of it I have." Well, at Newton, we're here ready to work hard for you to see if we're lucky enough to earn your business. Your luck can begin at home by starting your deal with Newton FastPass. Don't wait. Find your luck at NewtonNissanSouth.com. See website for details. No shame for the lame disclaim.
Finishing jobs on time, never being idle, and powerful equipment. Meade has the John Deere excavating equipment and the smart grade technology solutions for you and your business. Power your business with a new, used, or rented excavator and get the performance you expect and service you can rely on. Call us today for the equipment built as tough and reliable as you, or visit us at meadtractor.com. That's meadtractor.com.
What if you could be debt-free in 3 weeks? Hey, Willie Donick here. My friends at Loan Pronto are helping people do it every day. It's Loan Pronto's debt consolidation home refi, wiping out tens of thousands in credit card debt. Listen, your home's value is way up. You can refinance now, take money out to pay off all your credit cards, eliminate PMI charges, pay off personal loans, or other high-interest debt. One local couple had over $50,000 in credit card debt. Loan Pronto did a debt consolidation refi. And even though their mortgage rate went up a tad, they cut their monthly payments by $900. Why pay 20% interest when you can consolidate it to one low payment with a mortgage APR in the 3s? Homeowners who do it save an average of $800 a month. Do it now and even skip your next house payment altogether. That's what I call financial freedom. Call Loan Pronto now. 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
Listen to Stillman and Company with me, Caroline Fenton, all season long on ESPN 102.5 The Game for your chance to win Nashville Sounds tickets courtesy of 312 Pizza Company in Germantown.
It's been a busy offseason for the Tennessee Titans.
I think this is a one-year prove-it deal for Austin Hooper.
Big move for the Titans. Robert Woods. He fits what they want to do.
Harold Landry. I think he likes playing here.
The Titans keep the cap numbers small. Landry got exactly what he wanted. Now the focus shifts to the draft. What needs do the two-tone Blues still have?
Who can contribute right now?
Keep it locked to Nashville's best sports talk.
Talking Titans
on ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Interact with Darren, Donick, and Chase. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
I just realized a whoops. I said I was going to give away those Collective Soul tickets, and whoops. I forgot to do that last hour, so let's do that now. Let's do that right now, Elijah. Let's do caller 8. We'll do that in honor of the leader that he is, Marcus Mariota. So, number 8, best leader ever. 615-737-1025. That's our phone line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Elijah will answer that phone line here at the Hillside Medical Game Studio, and lucky caller 8 will win a pair of tickets to see Collective Soul with special guest Switchfoot at the Opry House on Sunday, September 11th. Cool prize. Really cool prize. So good luck with that. All right. The question is, and this was all brought upon, I heard Robbie and Rexrow throw out they gave a list of 3. Who would you root for to win a championship? The most between Bill Belichick, Nick Saban, and Coach K. And I said, without a doubt, Mike Krzyzewski, I immediately was like, well, he's 3rd on my list, for sure. Belichick, 2, and surprisingly, Little Nicky is who I would root for. I think we have patched things up since the knee slap, and I think we're actually in a good spot. We're in a good place. And the more I've been around him in private settings, I actually find him to be a likable guy. I know that sounds crazy, but, yeah, Nick Saban is my answer. I really do like him. Now, we have then broadened the subject to, okay, that's cool. Like, who's your number 1? You said Belichick. You want to keep things, safe.
Peaceful in the family.
Peaceful at home. Elijah said Krzyzewski, and I said Saban. So we all had different answers. So it accomplished what I thought it would. And I figured if we asked 100 listeners, we'd be all over the place with it. But let's take it a step further, because some of you had some fun at my expense on the text line saying, yep, Nate said Darren would root for a Louisville coach before he'd root for Mike over Coach K. Well, that's actually probably true, maybe true, yeah. But we want to know in any sport who would be the one coach you absolutely. There is no scenario whatsoever. Who is dead last? And I thought Coach K is dead last for me. He's dead last. And then I thought about it a little bit more, and I was like, except for, and there was one other coach. And you should be able to put this together because I've made my feelings known quite well on the record on this show about how I feel about him, because I have been around him in private settings over the years, and he is a very, very, very icky dude. And I've said that on the air many times. So this is not something new. It's not groundbreaking.
This is the hard thing about this question, is because the coach that could be the most hated coach could all of a sudden be the coach of your team. For example, like that, as you throw that question out, it's hard for me to come up with the coach because it's much more about the team for me.
I told you, I'm curious to hear your answer because I don't know your answer.
I'm scrambling to come up with an answer because I'll give you an example. Do you think Louisville fans hated Rick Pitino when he was the coach of Kentucky? And then all of a sudden, he's their coach. I'm not a huge Urban Meyer fan, but I have a ton of relatives that are Ohio State fans, and I just, I've always my dad grew up in Ohio. I've never from afar, I'm not a fan of Ohio State, but I like to see them do well. I know I got a ton of family members. My whole dad's side of the family loves the Buckeyes. So Urban Meyer's their coach. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Urban Meyer, ugh. Yeah. But it's the Buckeyes. You know what I mean? It's like you could change a lot. I can't stand the Yankees. I never root for the Yankees. I'm a Mets fan. But I like Joe Torre. It's hard not to like Joe Torre. Buck Showalter, nothing but love for Buck Showalter. Now he's the manager of the Mets. So even if I hated Buck Showalter before, he's my manager now. So I'm struggling on this. But I think I know the guy that you're going to say.
Oh, I suspect, you're
going to say. Now, Elijah, you're guessing Urban Meyer.
Yeah, my guess is Urban Meyer. I haven't told Willie.
And I haven't told either one of you.
But that's not my guess.
Okay.
My guess is Ken Wisenhunt.
Willie with the hanging curveball. That is a good one. That is a good one. But it is incorrect. But
really?
Man, that was a nice curveball you threw in there for a strike. That was pretty. I froze. Bat never left the shoulders, but it is not the correct answer. Actually, Elijah, has the correct answer.
It is Urban Meyer?
It is the icky Urban Meyer that I've been telling people for years. He is icky. And I get it now. It's easy to see it because we've all seen it play out in Jacksonville. But if you've been listening to the show, you've been listening to me over the years, you know I've been around him in private settings, and I have never, ever rooted for that man because he is icky. Yuck. Shower City when you're around him after 5 minutes. So, yeah, believe it or not, I said Coach K, if I was doing the top 100, he would be 433 on my list in the top 100. But then I thought about it a little bit more, and I was like, you know what? I don't think he's number one. I don't think he's dead last. I think there's one other person. Now, I've never been around Coach K. You have. You've actually seen the wrath of Mike Krzyzewski up close and personal. I have not.
Well, I got a couple different perspectives on Coach K. And look, everybody has flaws. Everybody has great things about them and not so great.
There's a but coming.
Well, but Coach K gets the benefit, it seems like, over the decades of just being this bigger-than-life, does everything right, perfect. Not perfect is the wrong word, but just this. This is how you run a program. And I do think he's got some flaws that don't really ever get picked on, like other coaches, other programs, other people. And I am influenced by the fact that he threw us out of the gym in a very non-classy, unnecessary way. This was 1997 or something, whatever it was. It was brutal. And that's not the only thing I'm basing it on. But, yeah, I don't like when people just gush over a person like he's bigger than life and has no flaws when, he's a human being like everybody else. So I can't think of another one. Coach K is towards the top of my list.
By the way,
and at the same time, I respect everything, all the good things that he has done. He's done a lot right, obviously, to do what he's done.
I'm going to give some props to the listeners on the text line. They before I revealed, as you guys were, they were guessing
they
was
were going
to be
for
Urban Meyer. Yeah, for me.
I still think the real answer is Ken Wisenhunt, but he's just not coaching anywhere right now.
Well, like I said, that was a nice one. You threw that was a pretty pitch.
I threw a hard slider.
Hey. That was a little Mariano Rivera screwball right there. Okay?
The cutter ball action.
The cutter right on the hands.
The cutter. Thank
broken
you.
Bat.
Yeah, broken bat. Ow! I'm, shaking my hands. Ow! Broken bat, cutter, Rivera. But, the Wiz, Coach, the Wizinator's there, but he's not dead last. Herb's dead last, for sure. He's just dead last. Krzyzewski's right there, but it's Urban Meyer.
If it's Urban Meyer on one sideline and Ken Wisenhunt on the other side, you're rooting for Coach Wisenhunt.
Here's the bigger question. If I would have gone through your experience with you and I had the Urban experience, boy, it would have been – I would have really been wrestling, right? Like, how do I choose? But because I never had truly the interaction with Krzyzewski like you did, he gets a slight bump above the icky Urban Meyer. Ugh. Ugh. I walked away from him the first encounter. I need to. I got to leave, guys. I got to go shower. Ugh. You got an SOS pad? Ugh. All right, we want to know from you. We're getting a lot of answers. Elijah, you haven't revealed your dead last. A lot of people weighing in. You can call in on our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, or our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, and the answers are flowing in. Who is the one coach you would never, ever, 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 ever root for? We'll discuss it next.
The trade deadline is come and gone.
I guess we'll see what happens with Forsberg riding this thing out.
The Predators can now focus on the final stretch to the playoffs.
We're a good team. We're a hard team to play against.
We are your flagship home of the Nashville Predators Radio Network.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Chef John from Kitchen Notes at the Omni Nashville. Inviting you to come join us for breakfast and lunch. We are offering some exciting new menu items. For breakfast, we have a smoked prime rib hash. Comes with a sunny side up egg, hominy, caramelized onions. It's a great start to your day. We are featuring a sourdough pancake made with a sourdough bread starter. It's a fun spin on the classic buttermilk pancake. As always, Kitchen Notes is serving biscuits all day. Come join us and create a memorable experience here at the Omni Hotel. Food is all about memories for us. We'd like you to start a new memory here at Kitchen Notes in the Omni Hotel.
Breakfast at Kitchen Notes in the Omni Nashville Hotel.
We buy any car. We buy any car. We buy any car. Any.
Trading in or selling your car, truck, or SUV? WeBuyAnyCar.com takes the hassle out of selling in just 3 easy steps. 1. Get your free online valuation. 2. Drive to your local car buying center. And 3. Walk out with your check in as little as 30 minutes. So don't wait. Get your free online valuation now at WeBuyAnyCar.com.
Find out how much your car's worth at We Buy Any Car.
You love Days Delta 8 products. Now follow them on Instagram for special promotions, giveaways, contests for cash prizes, and cannabis education. Make your next Days purchase at any of the 3,500 nationwide stores that hold their products in Informed One. Follow Days.D8Official. That's Days.D8Official on Instagram to see this truly single-source Delta 8 brand behind the scenes. Days 8, the highest quality standard of Delta 8.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job,
not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. I am Hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Tonight, it's a Western Conference battle in the NBA.
Torrey inside, great muscle move.
As the Phoenix Suns take on the Golden State Warriors.
Klay Thompson's 5 of 7.
Coverage begins at 8:30
on ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, I'm Gary Smith, head coach of Nashville SC. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Congratulations, Audie Johnson. Audie was lucky caller 8. Audie's going to that show at the Opry House. You ever seen a show at the Opry?
Of course.
Okay.
Many times.
All right, I was just asking.
Yeah. I saw the Opry at the Opry.
Wow. Well, that's really cool. I'm just
and
curious.
of course, the Dinner of Champions.
Well,
that was at the Opry House.
Admit that's not. I mean, that is a show. I'm talking about like a
concert. Yeah, seen a couple. Yeah,
I've seen Christmas things at the Opry.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's considered a concert. Probably not. Like the Grinch and stuff. I've seen that at the Opry. All right, I want to know your answer because I'm going to read some of these. Our text line is getting flooded with answers. Elijah has an answer. Jared was just in here. I don't even know his answer. I guess any Kentucky coach. I don't know. I don't even know what he would say. So I don't know what you would say. Who is the one coach you would never, ever root for? Ever?
I said it.
Are you going to pass?
No, I said Coach K.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that true though? Is that really your answer?
Calipari would be up there for me.
Because I know
I'm not a big fan of his, but
there have been coaches you've been like
as you get older,
over.
as you get older, you mellow about some of this stuff. It has so much more to do with the team that you're coaching than the person. I mean, Bruce Pearl's up there for me. When all that goes through, it maddens me that Tennessee fans still would like to get him back. I don't get that.
Well, because he wins.
Yeah.
Guess what he does? I mean, not this year, but he's had success in the tournament. That's why.
Yeah. And look, this is all in good fun. This is not personal. Like we've had Bruce Pearl on the show. He's really engaging.
Says who?
Guy.
Unacceptable.
I didn't say mine wasn't personal.
No.
That may be your answer.
I guess it was personal for me when I got tossed out of the gym with George by Coach K. That was
what are you
personal.
talking about? No, wait. He didn't toss you. He cussed you out of the gym.
Oh, it was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous.
That's not personal?
Yeah. That was personal.
I would say it is personal.
Okay.
My answer is personal.
That's why my answer was Coach K.
All right. Elijah, what do you got?
Mine's Gino Auriemma, number one. I cheer against Team USA women's basketball because he coaches them.
So you were rooting for NC State big time Monday night.
So hard. And it was one of those things whenever they pulled away, like whenever they ended up winning that game too, where they hit that shot to get overtime. I was like, of course they did, because of course Gino Auriemma kind of has that bounce or whatever. But can't stand the guy. Grew up loving Tennessee women's basketball out in East Tennessee, and that guy he just seems like the biggest rhymes with smoosh on the planet. And I want nothing to do with the guy. Nothing to do with him.
All right, we are just, I got to sift through. There's just a lot. I don't see no name attached. Come on, let's put a name. Put a name on it.
We got a Mike Babcock nominee from the suit.
Mike Babcock?
Yeah.
Okay. Really? That's like dead last?
That was from
his
the
dead
suit.
last coach.
Chase McCabe, Mike
Okay.
Babcock.
I'm curious to hear the ones that people say that not everyone agrees on. Like someone has one that like Coach K, Belichick, Auriemma.
Right, let's get outside that
Nick
box.
Saban,
Okay.
sure.
All right, the text line is doing that. It's
right,
providing that.
What do we got? What are some guys?
Unnamed texter, my choice is very easy. Penny Hardaway. There is no more spineless coach in America than Penny Hardaway.
Ooh.
Elijah, you ask, you shall receive.
That's good. That's really good.
They could be in some hot water again.
You think?
Some serious.
No. I think that could be.
By the way, it
was
will
be.
You talking about for Wiseman? That's still going on.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to get the Bruce Pearl Tennessee treatment because they didn't cooperate to the point where their non-cooperation resulted in a level 1 violation.
Get the bell ready, Elijah. Another vote. Unnamed texter. Urban Meyer. There we go. We'll just get a bell ready for him. Let's see. Unnamed texter says hi first. Hi, unnamed texter. 1,000%, not 100%, 1,000%. Bruce Pearl, Rick Pitino, close second. Oh, I'm sorry, Michelle tweeted that, or texted that. Sorry, she threw that in there at the end. 1,000% Bruce Pearl, followed by Rick Pitino. As a close second.
This is Michelle?
I don't know. I don't know if it's.
She texted me the same thing. So it
is Michelle.
It's either Michelle.
It's Morning Show
or
Michelle.
It's someone who thinks just like Michelle and has the same allegiance.
She needs to sign.
But see,
Morning Show
that's
Michelle.
the interesting. That's what I brought up about your coach that you dislike. Once was their coach. Like she's Kentucky, right? Yeah. He was the legend of Kentucky.
But he was also Louisville's coach.
That's what I mean. So I guess she has recently.
And he also left Kentucky.
To go to Louisville.
Not to go to Louisville, but he left Kentucky to go to the NBA.
And then back to Louisville. So all of a sudden they forgot everything he did at Kentucky, which I don't get. It's like, you don't remember when they were dead and on probation and they had no life and he just infused them with all kinds of life. And listen, he's got flaws, as we know. I'm not his biggest fan, but he can coach.
Rick in Clarksville. Lane Kiffin. And then he added another text that said, also rhymes with swoosh.
Lane Kiffin.
Kiffin.
I would imagine he'll get more than one vote.
Get the bell ready. Thomas in Nashville. The one coach I would never, ever root for is Urban Meyer. Was also named, I guess, close second, according to Thomas from Nashville, Kevin Stallings. He is such a jerk. I wish Thomas would have seen other sides.
Yes.
Like we've seen.
From afar, I can see how you
privy to Kevin, and Kevin's actually really funny and smart, and he's actually got a very, very likable side. But I understand. I'm not. Look, you feel how you feel.
Most of the people we were talking about, we don't know.
Correct.
Right.
and maybe I'm assuming Thomas never had any interaction with Kevin Stallings. Let's see. Okay. Brian in Portland. You went off the radar. You went off the grid. This is not one I expected to see. For me, this is Brian in Portland. It's definitely Avery Johnson. His voice drives me crazy. Or actually, he said bothers me. He goes, I'm haunted.
You don't like the big smile?
By his voice every time I watch a basketball game that he's doing.
See, this is the kind of stuff I was searching for. This is the kind of stuff I want. I want someone just to throw out a random name, just like Mike Woodson.
I'll give you another random one that I just thought of that I had not popped into my mind, but and I'm going to go back a few years. But when Ron Wilson was the coach of the Sharks and all that business with the copy machine and the false stuff he was throwing out there in that playoff series, oh, man, he got on my list there. So annoying. And he coached Team USA. Like it was the thing you were talking about with Oriema. Like, you can't stand the guy, and all of a sudden, he's the coach of the USA? Oh, man.
Gary on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. As these texts are coming in hot off the press, I like Gary already. I'm just telling you, because this guy is right above Krzyzewski for me. I mean, he's way down there with Wisenhunt and Krzyzewski, but he's not to Urban Meyer, but he's close. I'm with Gary. Gary says Bobby Knight, world-class ass.
That makes a hell of a T-shirt right there.
And Gary says, I'm a 63-year-old Nashville man. Good for you, Gary. I'm with you on Bobby Knight.
Well, that's one that went through some evolution.
I'm with him. Drew, if I can keep up with these texts. Drew has Urban Meyer or Tommy Tuberville. Or Philip Fulmer.
Oh, that's good.
Then, I guess after Drew thought about it, then he texts back in and says, all right, Philip Fulmer is number one. How about that?
Okay.
Then he texts in again and says, Tommy Tuberville. Yuck.
Sounds like an Alabama fan.
Yuck.
Possibly connection.
I don't know. Yeah, I would think so. I would say for sure.
That would seem to be deducing.
If you were trying to connect dots, I would say roll tide roll. Right, from Drew. Let's see. I mean, like I said, if I can keep up with these things.
You have to have one Steve Spurrier on there, right?
Joel, unnamed texter, Joel Quentville.
Quenville.
Put me on that train, too. It's a good one.
That's a guy that a lot of people that I know him. Really think he's a much different dude behind the scenes than what you saw kind of the crusty coach of the Blackhawks for all those years. Now, of course, he's lost points with the whole thing about the scandal in 2010 and everything. He's probably fallen in a lot of people's eyes.
Okay, get the bell ready. This is along now. He's earned bell status with Urban Meyer. Troy in Murfreesboro, Bruce Pearl. Phil, Bruce Pearl.
Ooh.
And then says comments that I'm not going to read. But that is a vote for him. Mike in Murfreesboro, Urban Meyer. Followed closely by Urban Meyer.
Urban might be the leader right now.
Herb's in the lead for sure.
Herb's going to make this bell look like the Liberty Bell with the crack in it before long.
Bruce Pearl's rising fast.
John the mailman. Here's one. New. Pete Carroll. Says he cannot stand Pete Carroll. Easily the bottom of his list. Wow. All right, we'll continue on. What coach would you never, ever, 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 ever root for? More answers to that question next.
Friday night.
Trying to get it to Lind in front. And that's stopped by Saros lunging across.
The Predators hit the road to take on the Buffalo Sabres.
We got to get to the game that gives us the best chance to win.
Pre-game at 5. Face-off at 6. On Smashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From Fox 17 News, This is a Code Red weather alert.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Cloudy, windy, and warm this afternoon with strong to severe storms moving in this afternoon and during the evening hours.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
After months of playing, college basketball has determined the top 4 teams, and the final 2 rounds will crown this year's champion. BetOnline.net is your #1 source for all your betting needs and sports info. From all the latest odds, contests, and player props, you name it. And it's not just basketball. BetOnline.net is your continued source for all your sporting wagering information, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino games. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action. BetOnline.net, where the game starts.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back April 5th, and if you haven't been to Third and Home on game day, you're missing out. Third and Home is the newest sports bar in Germantown that overlooks the Nashville Sounds ballpark. From the bar's spacious beer patio, you can see the whole Sounds game as if you were sitting in the seats with a ticket. No wonder it's known as Germantown's bar with a ballpark. Head to 3rd Avenue North and check it out for lunch, a night of brews, or to catch a game. Third and Home is open Tuesday through Sunday. For more, visit thirdandhome.com.
If you snore, it may be a sign of a more serious, possibly life-threatening condition. Most people think of snoring as a nuisance, but it's a much more serious medical condition than you think. Snoring has been associated with chest pain, sleep apnea, high blood pressure, chronic pain, obesity, headaches, and sore throat. Take a listen to what some of our patients are saying about the revolutionary Vivo system.
Right after I started using it, I noticed the results really, especially with the snoring. My sleep apnea episodes are a fraction of what they were before. This product's phenomenal. It changed my life.
I am 100% happy that I did this, and I'm thankful every day that I have it.
If you're curious about our sleep devices, call now for a sleep consultation. Don't let your spouse have to sleep in the guest room, and don't risk the severe health complications of snoring and sleep apnea.
Dr. Kelly Rice is certified to provide the Vivo system to open the airway for a better night's sleep. Call 615-373-4488 or go to BrentwoodSleepApnea.com to see which therapy can work best for you.
Individual results may vary. Always seek the advice of your health provider with any questions regarding a medical condition.
Music City. Start a profitable new chapter of your life and be your own boss with your very own Little Guys Movers franchise. In fact, no matter where you are, from Green Hills to the Gulch to down in Franklin, if you can hear my voice, there's an affordable, profitable Little Guys franchise opportunity nearby. Use your existing 401k to invest in yourself. Financing options are available. Join a team with 30 plus years of growth and good times. Learn more at littleguysfranchise.com. That's littleguysfranchise.com. And then make that call.
So, what is Jared Stillman gonna say this afternoon?
You got to play if you want to earn $14.6 million next year.
Oh, brother, here we go.
But I'm done on investing money in dudes that can't get on the field.
Tune in to Stillman and Company, weekday afternoons from 2 to 6.
This is some serious stuff right here.
Delivered by TriStar Moving on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. If you've missed any of today's show, just search Darren, Donick, and Chase on Apple, Spotify, or on your favorite podcast platform.
A lot of you weighing in and you love this topic. How do you not have an opinion if you're a sports fan? A coach you would never, ever root for. By the way, if you're looking for a place to hang and watch the Predators and Sabres tangle in Buffalo on Friday, Preds Bud Light Watch Party at Headquarters Beer Cave. Drink specials, plus a chance to win tickets to an upcoming home game. Preds Bud Light Watch Party at Headquarters Beer Cave. That exact location is 114 2nd Avenue South, downtown. Remember, puck drop is at 6 o'clock. Pete Weber and Hal Gill will have your call here on these airwaves. I'll have pregame for you at 5 o'clock. Willie and his television crew, Bally Sports, will have their coverage starting at 5:30. Until Willie tells me differently. Josh P. from Donaldson. Number 1 coach he would never, ever root for, Jim Harbaugh. Number 1 on his list.
Number 1.
David. Bobby Cox. He likes to play the lefty-righty game to a fault. The year he brought in Reardon to blow 3 saves in the NLCS still haunts me. Bobby Cox? But it sounds like you're a Braves fan, so you I mean,
not rooting for your team?
Wow. All that success? No?
That's a different category, I think, that he's touching on there.
Yeah,
Manager or coach that you're bitter at?
Upset and bitter, but
it's your team.
But right, that's your team, and they had a lot of success under him. Interesting. Matt from Columbia on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. John Gruden. Chucky. Vote for John Gruden. How about that? Will in Clarksville. Dan Mullen, followed by Bill Belichick. Dan Mullen.
Dan Mullen. I could see it.
Probably wouldn't have had Dan Mullen answers, but over the last 6 months to a year, yeah, I could see that. How about this one? Don't see a name. I think it's Brian. Brian has named a Brian. Brian Kelly. Definitely a smooch.
Yeah.
Fake Southern
He's hard
accent.
to like. He's hard to like.
Surprised it took this long to get to him.
Yeah, I am a little surprised myself. That would have been one I, in retrospect, would have thought it would come up quick.
Brady. Bruce.
And you can't tell me, honestly, there aren't some LSU fans that probably would have him on the list, and all of a sudden he's their coach.
Well.
And it's like, no, he's a good guy.
If they start off 8-0, I mean, they're going to be just fine with Brian Kelly.
Yeah.
They'll be lapping up his dancing and his bad Cajun accent.
Family.
Yeah. Brady on our text line. Bruce Boutro?
Gabby?
And also said, wanted to throw in there, also great hat, Willie.
Okay, must be a Mets fan.
Must be a Mets fan. Sonny. Kirby Smart.
Kirby Smart. I have to say, the histrionics on the sideline with Kirby Smart with the, hey, pull me back. You know, I'm out on the field. I can't control myself. And the coach is, the get-back coach, literally, is pulling him back.
But I didn't expect to get a Kirby Smart, though.
No, but
I've got to be honest.
Well, when you win it, the higher up on the totem pole, the harder the wind blows. He's gonna start getting on the list.
I'm surprised he came here before Will Muschamp.
Will
Muschamp's
Muschamp
on here.
Speaking of unlikable sideline demeanor,
I see Bill Parcells.
Bill Parcells.
And then I'm not going to read his comment. I can't keep up with all these. This is interesting. Tyler, by the way, wants to vote for Jared Stillman, and then he said ring the bell, but he's not.
What team is he coaching?
He's not coaching. And then he texts in and says Coach Willie.
Coach Willie.
Nobody. That's the first. That's the first time Coach Willie's made the list.
We got Coach Willie before Will Muschamp.
Wow.
I don't have a team. I'm not coaching.
Barrett in the Borough says, hey, D-Mac and Wiley. You guessed it, Jeff Fisher. So we know what Barrett that is. It is interesting. And by the way, this just goes on and on. I mean, I see Bob Huggins. I see another Bobby Knight. It just goes on and on.
Bob
and on.
Huggins. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm not surprised by that.
No, I get that.
Okay, finally. I was waiting for this. Mike and Gallatin, Coach Cal, comes off as a spoiled baby. I'm surprised there's not more of them.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned him.
Well, I know, but I mean, we weren't flooded with a lot more of that, especially with the other fan bases that we have in our listening area. I would have expected.
Yeah.
But we also go well into Kentucky and get a lot of Kentucky fans in our listening area. So.
Well, I think there were a lot of Kentucky fans that couldn't stand Coach Cal, and then he became their coach, and it's a totally different thing. I think that's the interesting twist about this particular question. It's like, if you're really saying this person, then that would mean if he became your coach, you would not root for him.
Yes.
Like, that's how bad it would have to be your number one guy. But that's not the case most of the time. Almost all the time. Your team supersedes.
Without a doubt, my answer is yes. I would not. I would just have to. I don't know what I would do. I don't think I've never even had that as a consideration, like stop rooting
I do
for
remember,
a favorite team.
I remember talking to some friends of mine who are Kentucky fans when they were flirting with Calipari. And Calipari replaced whom?
Tubby.
No.
Billy Gillespie.
Billy Gillespie.
Oh, sorry.
And so,
I deleted his brief
Yes.
stint in Lexington.
So remember.
From the files. He does not exist.
Now the coach at Tarleton State, Billy Gillespie.
At where?
Tarleton State.
Tarleton State.
A new D1 school in Texas.
Is that in Charleston, South Carolina?
Texas. But where in Texas? I couldn't tell you, but
this is the example. Billy Gillespie. They were so down and out and down with Billy Gillespie. Even then, I was like, you want Coach Cal? You want him? I don't know. Like, they had the icky feeling, hey, the banners have been taken down and there's been probation.
The brief stint of Gillespie would have had you accepting anyone else as the coach at Kentucky.
Obviously, that's where they concluded. They justified a lot of stuff. I'm sure they had cursed him out.
We did a lot of shows together, and you know how I've Billy Gillespie.
Oh, yeah.
And the stuff that used to come out privately, whoa. Well, I mean, it eventually all came out.
It did come out, yeah.
After he left, and those stories came out. But I was hearing that stuff when he was their coach. I was like, what? Well, no wonder he's not winning. Seems like he's distracted a little bit. Steven from Antioch texts in, any coach for the Cowboys?
Well, see, that's not the question, though.
That's not the question.
You know, you don't like the Cowboys. I get that. Join the club. I'm one of those people too. But
if one of their successful coaches became the coach of your team, you're saying you're out?
Yeah, but he's answering a different question. He's answering a question of what team would you never root for. That's a totally different question.
No, he said any coach for the Cowboys.
But that's not the answer. We're looking at a coach, not the team he coaches. Like Jimmy Johnson, would he? He would. I didn't like his. You know, he would. If he was your coach, you'd love Jimmy Johnson. But I never rooted for Jimmy Johnson. That whole thing they had going, but it was a special thing.
Yeah,
the swagger, the hair. I mean, that was a great villain coach.
No doubt. Kenny from Spring Hill says he would like to reverse it. A coach that he would always root for, Barry Trotz. We endorse that message.
Okay, yeah.
We endorse that message, Kenny.
Maybe a question for another day.
Most likable. Go the other way. Anyway, good stuff.
But this is
good
the dilemma.
reaction.
What if Barry Trotz coached the Cowboys? You know, or your least favorite team, a team you hate, then you're in the big dilemma.
Here's a crazy one. Kyle on our text line. Pete DeBoer?
Oh, not likable. Vegas' coach, San Jose.
I know, but
he's not well liked.
But the most,
number one.
One?
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought of that, but
all right. Speaking of that, we'll switch gears and talk pucks with C-Mace. Chris Mason to start the final hour. That's next.
It's been a busy offseason for the Tennessee Titans.
I think this is a one-year prove-it deal for Austin Hooper.
Big move for the Titans. Robert Woods. He fits what they want to do.
Harold Landry. I think he likes playing here. The Titans keep the cap numbers small. Landry got exactly what he wanted.
Now the focus shifts to the draft. What needs do the two-tone Blues still have?
Who can contribute right now?
Keep it locked to Nashville's best sports talk.
Talking Titans
on ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
You know that right now, new customers get a $150 instant bonus guaranteed. That's right. You get $150 in bonus site credit. All you have to do is place your first bet of $5 or more. If you're thinking college hoops, well, it's Final Four time. I hope your bracket did a lot better than mine. It's gone from 68 down to 4. Of course, whatever you do on FanDuel, you got money line, you got all kinds of points and stats, totals, prop bets, so much more. I'll tell you that my pick for the title game would be Kansas against Duke. Take that with a grain of salt because, again, my bracket was bad. Do whatever you want to do. Just do it on FanDuel. Join today. Promo code Joe102. Place your $5 bet. Score $150 in bonus site credit. This is guaranteed, and that's promo code Joe102 again on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issue is now with double site credit. Expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line, 800-889-9789.
Hey guys, it's the new year. Are you still struggling with erectile dysfunction? I've yet to meet anyone that enjoys timing those intimate moments around a pill. Well, now you don't have to. The advanced wave technology at Hillside Medical has been shown by Cambridge University and the Cleveland Clinic to restore and even regrow blood vessels. It can improve circulation and eliminate erectile dysfunction. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED, call us in the next 2 minutes and you'll receive a consultation, assessment, and blood flow ultrasound free. Plus, a special gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. You're going to love that. Trust me. This is a $600 value, free to callers now. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Guys, get rid of your ED and get that spark back. Call Hillside Medical now to qualify. 615-576-5000.
Realizing Geico has over 85 years of experience saving folks money and providing great customer service is like realizing there's a crumb tray on the bottom of your toaster, and you don't have to keep turning the toaster upside down to clean it.
How long has that been there? Hey, who needs some croutons?
It's something that's been right there in front of you all along, like the dedicated Geico claims team available to you in the event of an accident to get you back on the road quickly, or realizing that baby carrots are just regular carrots that have been shaved down.
I don't care. They're still cute.
It's something you can't believe you never realized before. Like how Geico's 97% customer satisfaction rating means Geico is committed to providing the best service for their customers. Or how you can peel the top layer of tape off a lint roller and there's a fresh layer underneath.
Marcy, wait till you hear about the lint roller.
You mean how the handle is reusable?
Wait, what?
Trust. It's just one of the many reasons to switch to Geico. They're all right there in front of you.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, broadcasting 97.5 Murfreesboro, 106.3 Williamson County,
ESPN
102.5 The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's time for Darren, Donick, and Chase. With hosts Darren McFarland, Willie Donick, and Chase McCabe. On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game.
It's time! Shot broken up in front, and what a slick backhand try right in front of Chris Mason. And now the quick pass down the middle, breaking in, and the backhand stopped by Chris Mason. And Marlowe with a 2-on-1, a 3-on-1, and what a stop by Mason. Chichu right in front, and what a stop on Ekman by Mason. And goal, number 3, Chris Mason.
We are. This segment brought to you by Coleman Tractor, Middle Tennessee's leading Kubota dealer. Darren McFarland, Willie Donick here with you on this windy Wednesday. Windy Wednesday is what we're calling it. C-Mace in the house. Chris, walk us through what was going through the mind of Anton Forsberg last night on that crazy play on McCarron's shorthanded goal. And two, what do you make of that rule still intact in 2022?
Well, he's probably thinking, are you kidding me? That was the worst. He's sitting there waiting. I kind of felt bad for, obviously, you know, I was happy that the McCarron came down and he made an alert play and all that. So good on him. But it's such a stupid rule in my opinion. Like, he's sitting there waiting. The puck is 2 inches away from the line and he can't touch it. So he gets royally screwed on that, I think. You know, McCarron did a good job, and it's the rules, but it's too bad. It really is. I get why they maybe did it back in the day when there is, you know, a few guys who could play the puck and you could hold 4 checkers up in the neutral zone and the goaltender would have a lot of time and you could just get the breakout started. But it's different now. You can't hold anyone up. Even defensemen go back for the puck. They don't have much time anymore. So I feel that's an area it's kind of I think an obsolete rule in today's game. I think you'd get a lot of turnovers, and as much as they did it to eliminate or to create offense and offensive zone pressure, I don't think it would have the same effect as it did back in the day. So that's one I think they need to revisit personally.
I asked Skillsy last night about their slow starts, especially in the first period, and he brought up an interesting point about, hey, this is game 67 of an 82-game season. There's only 15 games to go. It's not like these teams don't study up their opponent. They study, players' trends, goalies' trends, and just the system that they're playing, what they're bringing to the table. You don't think they know what the Predators are trying to do, so especially early on in the game, they're trying to prevent that. So meanwhile, on the other side, in the Predators locker room, they're discussing their slow starts and how do they fix that. So with all that being said, how do you change that? Because you're not going to change your approach. You're not going to change your system, what you do night in and night out, but obviously you want to get off to better starts.
Well, on the flip side of that, they're studying the other team, so essentially it should cancel each other out, and then whoever kind of is able to execute it better or get to their game quicker. And I really honestly think, for me, when I've seen the slow starts, a lot of it's decision-making, it's, early execution, and, you got to give Ottawa credit. I talked to Hines in the morning, and he said, he told Willie and I, said, you know what, Ottawa's a tough team. They're playing hard. They're good defensive. DJ Smith has these guys playing well. They play a 1-1-3 in the neutral zone, so you've got to move it back maybe to the one that the first defenseman is going to carry it. That forward will come over and try to take him, so you can relieve it with back pressure. You bump it back to D-man number 2, and then you need support coming through the neutral zone. Or if you get it into the neutral zone, you have to chip it in because you're not going to be able to carry it in with the line stacked and the back pressure. So I didn't see them do that early in the game. So to me, that's an execution and a tactic failure, I think, on the part of the Predators, where they didn't do that. They tried to stretch it out. They tried to carry it in a little bit. And when you do that to a team that plays back like that in the neutral zone, they get the puck. They're all facing forward. They can see that puck coming. They pick it off, and then they go back the other way. So to me, it's the execution of the game plan is been the problem right now. And I find a lot of times, and we've said this too, and this is my observation, is when a team starts getting some offensive success, they start thinking more offensive. And a lot of the Predators' offensive success in prior games and stretches has come from solid defense and solid positioning. And being back, kind of in the same, situation that I just explained about Ottawa, is you're back waiting. So when they come into your structure, you get the puck, then you go back on the attack. And I feel that maybe the Preds are maybe cheating a little bit early in games, or thinking that the offense is going to come easy because they're hot and they're scoring goals. And you tend to get away from that when you change your mindset to a strictly offensive standpoint instead of, recognizing kind of what got you there. Your defense and your structure was the big reason that you got a lot of that offensive pressure. So to me, it's got to be back to basics, and it starts with the defensive side of things and the understanding that if you play solid in that department, you will get offense.
I thought McCarron's late period goals were backbreakers in that game last night. I want to ask you about the one in the second period, his second goal on the night. I think he went forehand, backhand, and that looked like I think he lost the puck or whatever, but it just happened to slide 5-hole and in. As a goalie, there's so much going right there in front. I mean, McCarron's a big dude. He's right in front. There's a lot of action right in front, and you're trying to, I can't only imagine what goes through a goalie's mind, but you've probably been through that play many, many times. What's that like?
Well, it's like when a guy, kind of whiffs his shot. You're reading the information in front of you. You're reading, his body language, his stick positioning, where he wants to go. And to me, it looked like McCarron wanted to pull that to the backhand and tuck it in behind him. So you saw Forsberg, Anton Forsberg, I guess I should clarify. He opened up because he was going to try to take away that, part of the ice. And then essentially it was really an unreadable play because, he had no idea that the puck was going there. And I don't think that was McCarron's intention anyway. Maybe until I hear different, that's what I believe. So it's tough because you can't really read that. And by the time you are able to react, it's in the back of the net. So, but I agree with you, though. I think they're backbreakers. And I think anytime you play a young team like that and they've got hope and they've got will, they're going to keep fighting and they're going to keep going and they've got that belief. But as soon as you kind of introduce a little doubt, I think they've, a team that's used to maybe losing those types of games, I think that's when you can really push and take the, get the advantage back and get that momentum. And I think the Predators did that in the third period. Juice, obviously, I think he allowed them to get to that point because, quite honestly, that game could have been over in the first period if it wasn't for Saros. But they did eventually get it going, and Scalzi said on our post game too. He said, sometimes good teams just find a way to win, and sometimes it's your goalie, and you get those big goals at the right times, the McCarron goals, and then in the third period. And I thought the third period was good, and Ottawa kept coming, but I felt the Predators were more in control of their game.
Chris Mason is with us. We're talking Predators hockey. Mace, I want you to break down the 2-on-0 save. This is tough on the radio that UC Saros made because it was maybe the one, and there were probably 6 or 7, and that's way too many. But the just golden chances that Ottawa had that he shut down. Of course, the obvious one is the penalty shot that he beats. But maybe the most impressive to me was the 2-on-0 after the steal inside the blue line. It comes out of nowhere. It's unexpected. It shouldn't have happened. Jeremy Lauzon, I'm sure, is thinking to himself, how could that happen to me? This is to my new team. He kind of left him hanging there, but Saros bailed him out. But the thing that I want you to break down is how hard it is for a goalie to change directions. It almost looked like to me like it would be a basketball player or a baseball player on a regular surface. But you have to remember, he's on ice. The way he's able to dig that edge in and change directions is incredible.
Well, first of all, I always try to put myself in that position of how, I would have done that or what I would have ended up doing. And obviously I don't have the skill set that Saros does. But first and foremost, you have to completely engage with what Brady Tkachuk's doing. So he's on a breakaway. He's coming with speed off that turnover. It's a broken play. You have to try to get some backward momentum so you can push from your left to right, which is the initial move that Tkachuk did where, it looked like, he sold that he was going to try to score that goal, score on that play, and then he passes back. So Saros shuts Tkachuk down, and whether Tkachuk was going to do that or had that in his mind the whole time, he sold the fact that he was going to, make a good move on a breakaway. And Saros went with him. He was fully extended, so in a split. So there's not a lot of way to really change your momentum. And he's such a good skater in the way that they kind of have looser a toe strap now with the lace where their skate's able to engage with the ice. But the amount of power that he got in the full split, when he digs his right skate into the ice and then pushes back on Batherson and he gets his glove out and just smothers that puck. It's phenomenal. And the speed and how he in split second of hesitation, or he takes a second and he has to pull his left leg in to be able to get his momentum up on his weight on his right foot to push back toward Batherson with his glove. It's in the back of the net. It was a great move on that 2-on-0. It should have been a goal. And, UC Saros, I could just tell he was on. It's just his head was connected. And, part of that's anticipating is knowing in the back of his head, he's like, well, I got to stop Tkachuk. But there is a possibility that he may go back to Batherson at the 2-on-0. So, he probably had that in his mind as well. But even if you do that, you still have to execute that, that play, what Saros did. And it was incredible. It is a save of the game. That should be on every highlight reel. But the thing about it is he makes it look easy, so it's not as good as, let's say, if,
a flail
was in, and flailing out, and it's like, so he did it so quickly, it made it look easy, which it wasn't.
That was something. So big picture with him, you kind of were really observing him in the morning skate to try to figure out things, and there's so many people that were saying, hey, is he getting tired? Is he getting overworked a little bit here? This is crunch time. So what do you take out of last night? Because that was vintage UC Saros here. But at the same time, there's 15 games in the month of April, and they know they've got to get some mileage out of David Riddick.
Yeah, that's for sure. What I take of that is that, Saros is what he's kind of been all along. He responds after, tough games and tough situations. And you do wonder about the mental and physical fatigue. I mean, any human being, and especially an athlete that's exerting themselves, traveling as much as they are right now, you're going to get worn down to a certain extent, and you're never 100%. But you don't want to, there's certain levels you don't want to you drop below. When you're driving your car, you don't want to get to the point where you hear the engine light come on or the gas light come on. You want to keep that tank as full as you possibly can, and it's going to happen. I mean, the best players in the world, I don't care who you pick, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, these guys all go through dry spells as well at certain points when they don't have their A game or, pucks aren't going in the net. And the same thing for a goalie. It's, it happens. You're going to get scored on. And the combination of maybe him being not at his best, and what I mean by that, because he's not giving up bad goals, but maybe just not making the saves that he was last night, and all of a sudden the game, they could have had 5 or 6 goals last night, like they did in Vegas and like they did in LA. Well, that was Riddick, but like they did in Vegas. But it shows me that he's able to recover quickly, and that's like the elite guys can do that. Guys that are maybe in the next tier or two down. 1 or 2 games that aren't your best turn into 4 or 5, and then all of a sudden you have a goaltending controversy, and you have 2 guys and you don't know who to put in the net. But having said that, to your other point is they got to play Riddick. There's a lot of games, and the big picture here is playoffs. You got to get there and you got to get position, but you also have to look at this team. No matter what anybody says about how the Predators are going to do, or they just got to get to the playoffs and have a good competitive first round. They want to go and they want to win that first round, no matter who they're playing. And if they're going to do that, they're going to need Saros at 100% or as close to as you possibly can, and that means using David Riddick. So it'll be interesting here. They got a few games this next couple weeks here. They could do some different things. I'll be very interested to see exactly how they deploy the goalies because we've seen, Willie, as you and I have documented, aside from that Vegas game, after a game off, he's 9-1 now?
9-1. That was his first loss. Was the Vegas game.
Yeah.
After a rest.
So the rest is going to be it's a thing, and they're on top of that though. I've had some discussions, and you and I asked John Hines about that, and they know they're going to have to give him some rest at some point, and it's part of the plan. But it's always moving. It depends on the game and the situation. So this next couple of weeks will be interesting to see what they do in that regard.
For the appearance on today's show, I have purchased you a ticket to the Buffalo Tour tomorrow.
Oh.
It's either tomorrow or Friday. It's put on by Pete and Claudia Weber. So I've purchased you a ticket. You're taken care of. You're on the list. I've got Willie a ticket. So there'll be a Buffalo Tour on this trip. So thanks for doing this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I feel like I've heard so much about Buffalo and the Bisons that in my mind I've already toured. I've toured it all.
You may meet Buster. I can't promise that. I'm just throwing that out there. You may meet Buster. I don't know. I can't make any promises.
We'll have to check his schedule.
But I've got your guys' tickets taken care of. Thanks for doing this, as always.
Thank you, fine sir.
Chris Mason will join Willie in the booth on Friday's coverage on Bally Sports. And, of course, Mace every Wednesday, brought to you by Coleman Tractor, Middle Tennessee's leading Kubota dealer. I want to talk to you about Wager. You've heard me talking about them for weeks, and it is time for you to jump on this new social sports betting app. It lets you bet on sports with your friends, your coworkers, and other folks here in the state of Tennessee. And even me, as you guys did yesterday, and just took my money. Rather than betting against the book that's incentivized to see you lose, you can get on there and have a whole lot of fun like we've been doing. Of course, I like to have a lot more fun when I'm winning. Last night, you guys took it to me, and maybe that's what I get for dabbling in the NBA. Am I going to get away from the NBA? Probably not. I'll probably be accepting more wagers tonight in the NBA, and I may even throw out a couple as well. So rather than chasing someone down for their money, you don't have to worry about that. When the game is over, the bet is settled right there on the app. On the minute the game is over. You don't have to worry about all that on Wager. So if you're not on the app, you're missing out on a whole lot of fun with your community. If you're over 21 years of age, download the Wager in your phone's browser at wager.me/DMAC. That's Wager, WAGR.me/DMAC, DMAC, and let's have some fun. And remember, when you get in there, join the 1025 The Game crew, and let's see if you can take some money from me. Hopefully not tonight, but you certainly did it last night. I'll be sending out wagers soon for tonight's games. Remember, you must be 21 years of age or older to play. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-889-9789.
So, what is Jared Stillman going to say this afternoon?
You got to play if you want to earn $14.6 million next year.
Oh, brother, here we go.
But I'm done on investing money in dudes that can't get on the field.
Tune in to Stillman and Company, weekday afternoons from 2 to 6.
This is some serious stuff right here.
Delivered by TriStar Moving on Nashville's best sports talk. ESPN. 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
Hal Gill here for my good friends at Dunkin'. You know I love Dunkin', and I'm wicked happy that Dunks is all over Nashville. A newly remodeled next-gen Dunkin' location is at 1645 West Main Street in Lebanon. Of course, Dunks has the best coffee, but they have new spring items available as well. Try the salted caramel cream cold brew, shamrock macchiato made with Irish cream swirl, and the roasted tomato toast with hummus or avocado. They also have amazing chocolate croissants. So go treat yourself, go get your Dunks.
The racing, the big one, the camping, it's all just bigger at Talladega. And with a doubleheader on Saturday and the premiere of the next-gen cars on Sunday, it's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. NASCAR's biggest and baddest track is back. The Talladega NASCAR Weekend, April 23rd through the 24th. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
Hey, it's Mike from Newton Chevrolet Buick GMC. It's March, and you gotta ask yourself one question. Do you feel lucky? Well, do you? We hope you feel lucky, because we're handing out luck all month long in Newton. We have great deals in both our sales and service departments. We have deals on the cars, trucks, and SUVs you've been looking for. That's not all. We're going to give you top dollar for your trade, and we're going to give you a great deal on your next car. Essentially, save you money and make you money at the same time. Thomas Jefferson once said, "I'm a great believer in luck, and I find the harder I work, the more of it I have." Well, at Newton, we're here ready to work hard for you to see if we're lucky enough to earn your business. Your luck can begin at home by starting your deal with Newton FastPass. Don't wait. Find your luck at NewtonChevroletBuickGMC.com. See website for details. No shame for the lame disclaim.
Finishing jobs on time, never being idle, and powerful equipment. Meade has the John Deere excavating equipment and the smart grade technology solutions for you and your business. Power your business with a new, used, or rented excavator and get the performance you expect and service you can rely on. Call us today for the equipment built as tough and reliable as you, or visit us at meadtractor.com. That's meadtractor.com.
It's the official Bud Light Preds watch party as your Nashville Predators take on the Buffalo Sabres this Friday. Puck drops at 6, but the party starts at 5:30 with all kinds of specials. See you at headquarters, Beercade, downtown Nashville on 2nd Avenue. Go Preds!
Markdown Madness is almost over, but Electronic Express is still bringing slam dunk deals. Watch the finals with 4K TVs from Samsung, LG, Sony, Hisense, TCL, and more. We've also got huge savings in every department: computers and gaming, smart home, housewares, mattresses, and more. Plus, save up to 40% on all appliances with up to 36 months free financing. Shop in-store or online with free express delivery on most items. Experience Markdown Madness at Electronic Express. We make it happen.
Hey, I'm Matthias Ekholm, and this is Smashville.
Ekholm, his shot, he scores! Matthias Ekholm gets the Predators' third of the night.
You're listening to the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Interact with Darren, Donick, and Chase. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
All right, TD has stuck his head in here. He's going to be pumping out another Talking with TD.
Yep, he's putting it
to
together
weigh
right
in
now as
on
we
the
speak.
coach. He said at first, when he heard it, his answer was going to be Marvin Lewis. Evidently, him and Marvin Lewis got sideways. But he said ultimately, his answer is Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly's starting to get
He's
a lot
up.
of votes.
He's inching up. A new nominee.
So Teron Davenport, his official vote was Brian Kelly, eking out Marvin Lewis.
Marvin Lewis, a name I was not expecting to hear.
Right.
In the last hour
I
or
was
so,
not.
but I'm glad I did. I want more random coach hate. Like, it's easy to hate like Brian Kelly, totally get it, but like I want some obscure ones.
Jeff on our text line, driven by Wilson County Hyundai.com. This is not me like inserting my own words. This is his exact text. Coach Meathead.
Coach Meathead.
And then he texted back in and said Mike McCarthy.
For those who aren't familiar.
Just because
Right.
I've been calling him Coach Meathead since Hard Knocks. And I think Tim Hasselbeck got a kick out of it because I was like, Tim, he comes off as a meathead. And this year it played out. He came off as a meathead. I don't know. I feel like, and for me to say this, for me to admit this, Willie, this is kind of big stuff here. I'm going to use an old reference, Happy Days. But I do wonder, with them naming the Detroit Lions as the subject for Hard Knocks, if it has finally run its course and jumped the shark. If this is really it. Because I think once you're getting to the Lions, maybe you may be surrendering. You may be going, you know what? I think it's run its course.
But there have been some teams that were so bad that actually turned around and had good years after being on the Hard Knocks. The Marvin Lewis and the Bengals were one of them.
Well, do you feel like the Lions could be the subject of Hard Knocks change their fortunes?
Not being on Hard Knocks has not changed their fortunes, so
No,
what do they have to lose?
That is not. Well, but also it's the Lions. Like, what's something you never hear anyone say, man, if I just had like more coverage of the Lions, like I'd be good. There was just a little bit more coverage of the Lions.
The Browns were on there. They were at the absolute rock bottom.
Look, I'm going to watch because I'm a homer for the Hard Knocks. But
were the Browns not coming off like were they 0-16 right before they – remember when Hugh Jackson was there? They were bad. They were really bad.
Well, they've had a lot of bad teams.
And that was Baker Mayfield's first pick in the draft, so they picked him. So
I also admitted last year, and it's hard for me to admit this because I am such a homer for the show, that last season was the worst season ever. So I'm starting to now go, okay, has this – although the Colts in season, maybe that's the new direction I found fascinating. I loved it. Now, maybe it's because it was in the Titans division and they were, they got hot and then they crumbled. I don't know. Maybe that played into it. But I do wonder, it's like, okay, I got on here and admitted that the Cowboys was the worst one ever. It was boring. Absolutely boring. Did I watch all of them? Yes. But I came away going, wow, I'll never get that time back. Like, that was terrible. There was nothing intriguing about that at all. It was absolutely boring. And I'm going, okay, but is that maybe the new trend? Is Hard Knocks run its course?
I think it's all the people. You can only work with the people that you have.
No, I think there's too much editing.
Okay.
As in the teams or the league. Like, hey, to make sure you don't. There needs to be more controversy. Let me tell you, were we watching when the Raiders were the subject? John Gruden, Antonio Brown? I'm sure they didn't. I'm sure they didn't love that being aired, but we were watching, right? I know I was. You didn't hear me complaining about the Raiders as the subject on Hard Knocks.
They hit the jackpot for that one.
Antonio Brown had the foot stuff. He had the helmet stuff. I think he just flat out quit on there, or they quit on him. They fired him. I mean, there was all kinds of drama. There was no drama with Dallas at all. It was boring. It was, what was it, sliced bread? So you got Jimbo Fisher fired up?
Bro Bible.
Bro Bible. Sliced bread, man. It was boring. So I do wonder. I'm worried. I'm floating this out there saying I'm worried for Hard Knocks. The Detroit Lions could end Hard Knocks.
Or Man Campbell saves Hard Knocks.
Or, as Elijah just put it, Man Campbell takes his shirt off, rips his shirt off, and saves Hard Knocks. And it becomes one of the most popular ones they've ever done.
I wrote through a wall for that guy.
Either way, you're going to be watching to find out. I may
going to
or may
be
not.
watching, but for how long? Like, is this it? I do wonder. All right, let's come back and get back into the Predators because there's some intriguing storylines. We had some good conversations earlier in the show. And the whole UC Saros workload, didn't look like it was affecting him last night, but will it affect him? But first, Willie, you're going to tell everybody about Lee Company.
All right, let's talk Lee Company. 615-567-1000. That is the phone number. Remember the home maintenance plan. It's a great time to do that because you may have not had your air conditioning unit checked in the last year. So jump on board with the home maintenance plan. It's very simple. Year-round, you get checkups from Lee Company on your air conditioning, your heating, your plumbing, and your electric. They do it in a timely fashion. They'll call you and set up an important time, a convenient time for you to have them come out and look at these things. And what they do is they find the little problems before they become big problems. And in exchange for that small monthly fee that you pay to be a member of the home maintenance plan, you get discounts on any repairs that you have going forward. I live in a house that was built in 1913. Over time, things break down. You know that if you're a homeowner. So you're going to save money on the long haul by being a part of the home maintenance plan. It's Lee Company, proud sponsor, Nashville Predators. We'll be talking about them on the other side. They are a huge sponsor of our radio coverage, which resumes in Buffalo on Friday. It's LeeCompany.com. The phone number, once again, 615-567-1000.
Here they come, turn 4, final lap.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe. Join me for Chasing Checkers every Sunday morning at 8, and you can hear some of the big names in racing, like Denny Hamlin.
I always like to undersell and over-deliver.
Dale Earnhardt Jr.
It would be amazing to watch a Cup race compete there again.
Kevin Harvick.
I think we learned a lot.
And several others. It's Chasing Checkers every Sunday at 8 on ESPN 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
This hour of sports brought to you by FlexCar.com. FlexCar is the only place you can match your car to your mood. Drive a sedan for work week feels and swap it for a Jeep for weekend thrills. With low weekly rates plus mileage, find out why more people are flexing their ride at FlexCar.com.
How can a half-carat diamond magically grow into a 2-carat diamond? With Genesis Diamond's 110% diamond upgrade guarantee.
Our trade-up policy is the best in the United States.
That's Stasia at Genesis, explaining how if you buy a diamond today and want to trade it in for a bigger one next year, Genesis always gives you back your original purchase price plus an extra 10%.
We will gladly give you every single penny you paid for the diamond plus an extra 10%, which is amazing. No one does that.
As a real-life example, take Stasia's customer Paul.
When he first started, he got a half-carat, and then as he became more successful, we rewarded him. He came in and he got a 3/4 carat, and then he's traded for a carat. I'm sure I'll see him this year for a carat and a half. As they grow and change and become more successful, their engagement ring can grow with them also.
And there's no catch, no minimum trade-up requirement, and it works on diamond studs and diamond pendants as well.
You get every single investment dollar you put into the diamond, you will get an extra 10% towards the new diamond.
Genesis Diamonds and luxury pre-owned Rolexes.
You can trade as many times as you wish.
Continuously voted best jewelry store and best place to buy an engagement ring. Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Hey, Darren McFarland here. I want to tell you about this new social sports betting app I've been loving called Wager, W-A-G-R. Rather than betting against the house, Wager lets you bet with other people in Tennessee. It can be your friends, coworkers, or even me. As a special promo for ESPN 102.5 The Game listeners, if you're over 21, go to wager.me/DMAC, and you'll get free wagers that you can use to challenge me. That's WAGR.me/DMAC. Join me and challenge your community, not the house. Please play responsibly. Call 1-800-889-9789 for help.
Come float at Float Horizon in East Nashville. Come float to relax, recharge, renew. Float to boost your mood and enjoy a pleasant afterglow that lasts for days. Float to escape or meditate. And come float for half off with Nashville's best deal of the week. Experience a 60-minute float session for just $39.50. Go to theGameNashville.com/deals to get your float on today. Lay back and experience the wonders of true relaxation at Float Horizon at 1012 Russell Street in Nashville and floathorizon.com.
ESPN's Turon Davenport breaks down the Titans like no other.
On the field chemistry, I don't think it's going to be a problem. It's just going to be a process.
Catch TD Mondays at 11, Thursdays at 3, and Fridays at 8. Plus, the Talking with TD podcast drops every Wednesday.
When you draft players, it's not just for one season, it's for a career.
Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
What's happening in Nashville? This is Scott Van Pelt. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Here at 102.5 The Game, we're Nashville's official home for NASCAR. Vroom, vroom. Sunday at 1:30 p.m. That's in the afternoon. Toyota Owners 400. They have the weirdest names for these races now. Richmond Raceway. Also, Chase will get you set for the race Sunday morning at 8 o'clock here on these airwaves with Chasing Checkers. See what he did there? Chasing Checkers. Back here on the DDC, Darren McFarland, Willie Donick here with you, Elijah Campbell, Hillside Medical Game Studio. It's 15 games remaining. UC Saros has made 56 starts, I believe. It's off the top of my head.
56, correct.
56? Okay.
Tied for the most in the league. Connor Hellebuck will, I'm guessing, be in goal tonight for Winnipeg, and that will be 57 for him.
Okay. 4 more back-to-backs. So let's just throw that in as that's a given. So that would put it at, what is that, 67 starts? So what is the real number? What's the real number? If you threw in, he's sitting out 4 with back-to-back situations, but I just don't believe that is the only way he's not in there. I just don't.
I think they understand that they have to really monitor this. And let's take, for example, last night, the dilemma that you have. I think in the big picture, you know you've got to get some rest for your franchise player. You heard Chris Mason say it, that you don't want to just get into the playoffs. You want to be able to win in the first round. And to do that, you got to have a great series from UC Saros. There's no two ways around it. UC Saros is the most important guy on the team, and that's on a team with Roman Yossi and Philip Forsberg and Matt Duchesne, all the guys having these great years. But you can't go anywhere without great work from Saros. Last night, they don't win that game without UC Saros.
No.
And that's pretty scary. But he picked them up, and there's a stat that Adam Vingan has been following called steals, where you look at the quality that you gave up and how many goals the other team is supposed to score based on that quality. And when your goalie bails you out and wins the game, that's called a steal. He's racking up steals. He's worth a ton of points in the standings, even with some of the recent lulls in his stats. But that being said, I think it is real that when you haven't done it before and you're playing all these games, you have to be concerned about the maintenance of your mental sharpness, your physical sharpness. But, for example, you've got 2 games before you play Buffalo. So on first glance, you say, hey, 2 nights off, that's a ton of rest for UC Saros. Get him in there. And that's what I think they're going to do, right? Especially coming off of the way he played last night. So if you play that game, that's what they've done a lot. They've said, we planned on resting UC Saros, but hey, the season's going to be shut down before Christmas. That's extra days rest for UC Saros. Hey, we thought we were going to have 3 weeks off. We only have 1 week off, but hey, we can play him. I think there's a couple times that they had some built-in rest that they sort of justified playing him even more games than they planned originally because he's been kind of like their MVP. But as we pointed out yesterday on our television broadcast, the numbers are a little bit different since the All-Star break. And there's been some games where I think he's actually played well, but he's just given up 3 or 4 goals because of the nature of the way the game was played on that night. Like I think the game where, for example, you play the Maple Leafs, he gave up 3 goals, which it seems like a lot for him, but he played really well in that game. You hold the Maple Leafs to 3, that's pretty good. He made 44 saves in Las Vegas in that game last week. But they had 50 shots. Some of the stuff that was coming at him, I don't think you can say that was on him. He gave up 50 shots. They were badly outplayed. Stopped 44 shots and still gives up 6 goals. So sometimes you have to keep that in perspective. But look at the schedule, Darren. You got 2 days off Buffalo, 3 days off Minnesota. That's a home game. Minnesota, he's got to play that game, right?
100%.
So where do you give him a night off? Do you give him a night off in Ottawa, where you just played that team, and you come to the conclusion he won the game for you last night? Can you go up to Ottawa and give him the night off?
Sure.
I think that's the kind of – you don't want to, but I think you kind of have to. It's not a back-to-back, but maybe that's one where you just have to say, look, we've got to do this. I'll give you in the past when they did it, you're on the flight to Florida, and you're saying, okay, how are we going to beat the Florida Panthers? They're 23-2 or whatever they were at the time.
23-3.
23-3.
Yep. Best home record in the league.
How do we
by
beat
far.
them? Well, we got to play UC Saros. But they had to stop themselves and say, you know what? We've got to give them a night. Let's give them a night. And David Riddick rose to the occasion, played a good game, and they rallied and got a big win. They're just going to have to do that a couple of times, I think, down the stretch. So what's the number? Pekka Rinne played 73 games in 2011-2012. 73. That led the league. Thomas Vokoun had a year where he played 73. Most people now, just in the last 10 years, they've come to the conclusion that
it's too much.
It's too much to play that many. So I think you're looking at trying to keep it to about 65, 66. Don't you think?
Yes.
So there's 15 games left. If he played 10, that would be 66. Now, here's the other thing we talked about earlier this week. They end the season with a back-to-back at Colorado, at Arizona.
Like?
What's on the line for those games? Is a seed on the line? Is getting in on the line? If getting in's on the line, you're gonna put them in there.
The other factor is Colorado in that game could have 0 to play for.
I anticipate that they'll have the number 1 seed locked up by then.
Which means what? They'll probably sit some guys.
Yeah. But so I'm not even that's part of it. But is it need to win to get in, or is it need to win to get a 3 seed as opposed to wild card 1? Is there a need to win to get wild card 1 as opposed to wild card 2? There's a lot of things that could be on the line.
Remember, Carolina had nothing to play for in the final regular season game here.
Yeah.
And they sat a bunch of guys down, and Pekka pitched the shutout.
Right.
So I don't know what Colorado's approach will be.
Well, Carolina, I can't remember if they had a seed on the line in the second to last game. Remember that?
Yeah, I can't remember.
And Nashville beat them. They didn't rest anybody in that game, and Nashville beat them. Yep. And then once they did clinch, both teams rested a lot of guys for the Pekka game.
Yep.
So
shutout.
I think you're conscious of it. Next week is the really big workload. You actually have a little bit of time to breathe here, because between now and next Tuesday against Minnesota, you've actually got 5 days where you don't play. You only have 2 games in 7 days. That's unusual at this time of the year. But then it really picks up. From April 5th until the end of the season, it's extremely busy. And that's where I think you really have to work and figure out what's the right day to spot David Riddick in there where it's not a back-to-back.
John Robinson is evidently in Knoxville today at Tennessee's Pro Day. Also, Jim Irsay apparently lost his mind at the end of the regular season. It's pretty interesting, some of the stuff that has come out yesterday after we got off the air. We'll discuss that as well as you listen to the DDC, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
It's been a busy offseason for the Tennessee Titans.
I think this is a one-year prove-it deal for Austin Hooper.
Big move for the Titans. Robert Woods. He fits what they want to do.
Harold Landry, I think he likes playing here.
The Titans keep the cap number small. Landry got exactly what he wanted. Now the focus shifts to the draft. What needs do the two-tone Blues still have?
Who can contribute right now?
Keep it locked to Nashville's best sports talk.
Talking Titans
on ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. app.
All right, so we got obviously some more games coming up this week and this weekend. And, you know, I'm going to be out with the crew. I'm going to hang out and have a good time, and I'm going to order a Screwball peanut butter whiskey because that is my go-to when I'm out with my friends. And I love enjoying games while sipping on a Screwball peanut butter whiskey, whether it's a shot or a drink. You can have it on the rocks. You can have it as a peanut butter old-fashioned. You can do an espresso martini, a PB&J shot with a berry liqueur. There's a lot of different things that you can do with a Screwball peanut butter whiskey. You can go to their website, screwballwhiskey.com, and learn more about some of their recipes. But you know why I like it so much? It's an original, just like me. It's all natural flavored, and it's made with real whiskey, peanuts, and peanut butter. And it is fantastic. So when you're out with your friends, do like me and order a great tasting whiskey. That's Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2022. Screwball Spirits, LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors. 35% alcohol by volume.
From Fox 17 News, this is a Code Red weather alert.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Cloudy, windy, and warm this afternoon with strong to severe storms moving in this afternoon and during the evening hours.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Gary Ashton here. Most people in Nashville know me as the don't sell without the intel and the guaranteed offer guy. But despite my accent, I'm also 100% guaranteed Nashville. I'm a guaranteed musician, a guaranteed dog lover, and you're also guaranteed to see me at every Titans and Preds game. Guaranteed offer means the Gary Ashton team with RE/MAX Advantage will sell your house for top dollar with no cleaning, staging, showings, or open houses, and give you up to 90 days to close. So there's plenty of time to find your next home. Guaranteed Nashville means my team lives here and loves it here. We've served Nashville for over 20 years, and we're passionate about helping the people we call neighbors and friends, which is why we've had a long-standing tradition of donating to the Vanderbilt Children's Hospital. If you're thinking about a guaranteed offer, get the only one that's guaranteed Nashville. Request a no-obligation offer by calling 615-301-1650 or go to GaryAshton.com today. Remember, Gary Ashton, guaranteed Nashville.
Did you know that about 80% of new home buyers don't ever shop around for the best mortgage loan? That's a huge mistake. Hey, Willie Donick here. Listen, not all mortgages are created equal, and I'm here to prove it with Loan Pronto. People who use Loan Pronto save on average $3,500 just in closing costs. On top of that, they get a better rate, which saves them thousands more every year. Your banker or agents go to lender. They're fine people, but don't assume they're giving you the best deal. Call Loan Pronto for a quick second opinion or go to loanpronto.com. I'll bet they can get you a better loan, a lower rate, without all those annoying closing costs. What have you got to lose? You compare costs on everything else in your life. Why not do the same with your mortgage? Call 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
This is Dan. Dan uses Navy Federal Credit Union to save and invest. Luckily for him, Navy Federal takes the legwork out of managing his money, which gives Dan time to work on other things, like his new auctioneering hobby. If you want to be like Dan, learn about our savings and investment options at NavyFederal.org/save and invest. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission.
Bidder number 63.
Savings products insured by NCUA. Investment options are available through Navy Federal Investment Services and are not insured by NCUA.
Inside knowledge on the Titans.
Todd Downey's got his notepad out right now, just writing things down. Ooh.
Inside knowledge on the Predators.
They can go right into the forecheck, and boom, you get a beautiful goal from Colton Sissons.
And then there's a team in Knoxville.
How excited should Tennessee fans be by what they've seen from Josh Heupel in year one?
Wake up and hang out with Robbie and Rex Road. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10. Brought to you by Little Guys Movers on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and The Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. If you've missed any of today's show, just search Darren, Donick, and Chase on Apple, Spotify, or on your favorite podcast platform.
It's almost the end, Jim. It's the end for Carson Wentz and Indy. We're going to get to that in just a moment. Don't forget Smashville Live tonight during the 6 o'clock hour. You can also watch the show on the game's Twitch, Facebook page, YouTube, and Twitter. Smashville Live every Wednesday night during the 6 o'clock hour. Brought to you by New Amsterdam Vodka, Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, and Red Spirits and Wine in Bellevue. This is the end. We know Carson Wentz is done in Indy. Good luck in Washington. But what's interesting is the owners' meetings. Of course, they came out with the new overtime rule that we discussed. But Jim Irsay, who's never been shy on his words, said at the owners' meetings yesterday, I think the word, this is quote, all these are going to be quote, Colts owner Jim Irsay. I think the worst thing you can do is have a mistake and try to keep living with it going forward. Now, I agree with him. I think at times he's a little bit crazy. Maybe blank crazy. But on that one, I agree with him. Like, it is dumb. Like, it's a mistake. If you know something's a mistake, don't just keep going there and expecting different results. For us, it was something we had to move away from as a franchise. It was very obvious. Now, this is the quote that cracks me up. Willie, anytime you start with no disrespect to,
yeah,
but here goes.
You know it's coming.
But here goes. Jim Irsay says, and I quote, no disrespect to Jacksonville, but I mean, they're the worst team in the league. You play well and hard for the first quarter or so, and they're looking to go to their locker room and clean it out. I've never seen anything like that in my life. You say, my God, there's something wrong here. It needs to be corrected. I think that we feel like we did. Your guy's going to pick up and carry you through Jacksonville, Irsay said. He has to do it. Not an option. He has to. No excuses. No explanations. But he didn't. They lost.
I think this is a really fascinating thing that he has come clean and basically admitted to the whole world that he just decided on that day, I'm making a change.
That's it. Which is why Chris Ballard, remember, Chris Ballard spoke right after their season ended, and he was just like, when asked about Carson Wentz, yeah, I'm not sure we're going to be moving forward. Clearly, he had already been in the owner, he had already been with Jim Irsay, and Irsay's like, get him out of here. It's over. So Chris Ballard already knew right then. He already knew. That's why he was like that in that press conference. I was like, man, he didn't sugarcoat. He didn't mince. He didn't like paint like a fuzzy picture. He was like just painting the picture like it's over with Carson Wentz.
And he had to be careful how he said it because he didn't want to ruin his whole leverage.
Yeah.
Like he was able to trade Carson Wentz, which in retrospect,
right?
Maybe Washington should have driven a harder bargain.
You think?
Maybe.
Maybe waited till he was released.
Which is what Baker Mayfield is going to become. And a lot of people would take Baker Mayfield over Carson Wentz, wouldn't they? It's debatable.
Yes, I would think so.
And one team is going to get some value back, and the other team is going to get nothing. So anyway, I think it's tricky, though, when an owner decides to get emotionally involved and just make a decision. It's not the first time Jim Irsay's done that. Jim Irsay knows something about football, but he's not the GM. He's not the football evaluator. He's not even by title. Like Jerry Jones at least tries to act like or just plays the part like he has the title, right? He's
been the GM for 2 decades.
He is the GM, yeah. So we'll see how this works. This is a mini version, I think a more extreme version of the Titans and Tannehill. Right? There's that emotional, how did we lose this game? The blame goes to the quarterback. So if you get irrational about it, which a lot of people were ready to do around here, then you're not thinking about the long-term reach and the practicality of switching quarterbacks. And Jim Irsay, I don't know if he was thinking of it at the time, but he's made up his mind. And he didn't care about the long-term ramifications.
It worked out. Isn't Matt Ryan a better option than Carson Wentz?
That's what we're going to find out.
I think he is an upgrade. Definitely.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
You know how I feel. When we made our predictions before the season, I picked the Colts out, not in the playoffs. I was not buying Carson Wentz stock. I didn't say I'm not picking the Colts this year to be in the playoffs with Matt Ryan. I haven't made up my decision. I haven't made up my mind. It's not like I've come to a hardcore decision. But I'm saying last year, the whole Wentz mania when he would get to Indy, I was like, I'm out. I'll need to see it to believe it. I don't believe all the hype. I'm not picking the Colts to go to the playoffs.
Okay. That may be true.
So I think it's an upgrade.
It may be, and I think they actually did a pretty good job under the circumstances to get Matt Ryan, because they could have been lost in the musical chairs thing
or
with something worse.
Right.
But they got him, and they didn't have to give up too much to get him. But all that being said, it's revealed now that Jim Irsay made the deal. Did everybody in the locker room feel the same way about Carson Wentz? Hey, we got to get out of here.
He says,
did Frank Reich, who really went to bat to get Carson Wentz, was he that committed to saying, hey, I got to get a new guy?
Well,
I can't make it work with this guy.
It's funny that you bring that up, because Jim Irsay was not done.
Okay.
He says, in having conversations with trusted veterans on the team, so to speak, when you speak to them in confidence, oftentimes they share I'm just reading word for word.
Okay.
Oftentimes they share really what's happening. What I found out was very concerning. So there's your answer.
Maybe. But
he's painting
is
the
he
picture.
not, though, looking for that? Like, he went to those conversations looking to hear that. Am I true? Am I right? Like, he made up his mind that day in Jacksonville.
I don't think it, to your point, I don't think it would have mattered.
Like, I go to you. I'm the owner. I go to you and say, Darren, Carson Wentz, man, what do you think? Carson Wentz was awful. We need to get him out of here. Don't you think so? Boss, yeah, I think you're, like, those conversations, I don't know if they're honest and objective. I think going into it, there's a little bit of bias, and he's looking to get.
Well, I think what you're saying is
verification.
That conversation can be manipulated.
Yes, absolutely.
Can be kind of molded to his storyline.
Yes,
his narrative.
And he may be dead on right. The Colts may come out way better because of this. But they had to jump through some hoops and shift stuff around, and they lost some money. Right? They had to pay a price to get this done.
It was like $15 million.
That's a lot.
Not $40 million like the Falcons.
Yeah.
It's their dead money.
What does it say about it? It's like when Julio Jones comes to town. The Falcons look like a bunch of idiots. Why would you want to get,